Hey guys, it's me, Amaterasu, back with part 6 to the Hope of the Senju clan, aka, What if Naruto was a Senju? This is my first of 4 videos that I'll be uploading today, so let's just get to the video. So without further ado, roll the intro.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
And I got all my feels. I'm getting this paper, I'm stacking a meal. I'm with your hoe in the house on the hills. Yeah. I'ma keep it real, at the sacrifice and try to get my bands up. Shorty wanna fuck with me, she see me on the camera. She say she in love with me, but really I can't stand her. She just want part of this life cause she see me on the ground.
Chapter 14, Teams. Training Ground 7. Upon leaving his previous team and becoming the apprentice of both Yamato and Kushina, the past 2 weeks had become fairly interesting for Naruto. For the first few days both Kushina and Naruto had been stuck doing E-rank missions, as punishment for their pranking contest, which Naruto won by redesigning the entire Onbu division masks with ridiculous faces, where several of the members had to wear them as they chased after Naruto. Not to mention for all the damage they did during the contest, and for ruining the Hokage's private reading time with his Icha book. Yamato of course refused to help either of them, as he was still a bit peeved at how they left him holding the bill at the ramen stand. Eventually though things calmed down and Naruto got onto some hard training with his 2 senseis, Kushina of course decided that she would help train Naruto to further improve his kenjutsu, by teaching him her Rajuijin no Mai, Dance of the Raging Water Goddess, sword style, which she created. The style itself involved using not only a sword but also water as a weapon as well, which was why the style was best used around a large nearby water source. But since Naruto could draw a large amount of water from the plants and air around him, he did not have this handicap. Yamato on the other hand started training Naruto to better use his Makuten bloodline. During the course of the past few weeks Naruto's skill in his bloodline improved, where instead of needing seeds to grow trees, he was able to create a fully grown one out of the ground by himself. Yamato also taught Naruto how to create wood binds, where Naruto could create wooden binds that would come from his body and wrap themselves around an opponent's body and subdue the person. But what amazed Yamato, when he was training Naruto, was that Naruto could not only grow trees and wooden objects, but also grow plants and manipulate them to a certain degree, something that he, Yamato, himself couldn't do. Hence when Yamato informed the Sandaime, the old Hokage could not help but wonder if this was another mutation of Makuten bloodline, or the next evolution to the bloodline, much like how the Sharingan can evolve to the Mangekyo Sharingan. But regardless of this, Yamato continued to help Naruto with his Makuten abilities and in his plant abilities as well. Nicely done there Naruto, spoke Kushina as she avoided another one of Naruto's slashes. But try this, she cried as she then stabbed forwards with her katana. Seeing this, Naruto did a backwards flip and landed on the small pond that was near them, where he channeled chakra to his feet so that he could walk on the surface. After Naruto avoided her attack, Kushina quickly jumped forward and onto the pond and attempted to slash at him again. Seeing Kushina coming towards him, Naruto quickly dipped his katana into the water underneath him and cried out Mizu no Jashu, rising water. Swinging his katana upward, creating several waves of water around him and acting like a wall of water, blocking Kushina's attack and making her jump backwards, away from the wall of water. As soon as Kushina jumped away from the wall of water, it quickly collapsed and Naruto then charged forward towards Kushina swinging his katana in a horizontal slash. When Kushina saw this, she quickly raised her sword to block Naruto's slash with her katana, but when she did, she quickly realized that Naruto's slash was a feint, as Naruto had dropped his katana into his other hand in mid-swing, making Kushina think that Naruto's first slash was real, when the actual attack was the second slash, which Kushina could not avoid or block in time, where when Naruto swung his katana, he cried out Mizu no Atsuin, rolling water, and slashed at Kushina's stomach. Thinking he had got Kushina, Naruto smiled, but it quickly faded when he saw Kushina revert into water, revealing that she had replaced herself with a Mizu Bunshine, water clone. Pretty good Naruto, you learned to use Mizu no Atsuin better than I expected you to, but still, you're lagging a bit when you're switching your katana from one hand to the other, spoke Kushina a bit away from behind Naruto, who quickly spun around to face his sensei. As soon as Naruto spun around to face her, Kushina quickly threw several kunais, with exploding notes tied to them at Naruto. Seeing them, Naruto then quickly spun his katana and held it backwards and quickly started to spin around at high speed and drawing the water around him to create a swirling vortex of water around himself. As Naruto spun around, he quickly cried out the name of the technique Senkai no Mizu, swirling water. See, where when the kunais hit the swirling water barrier, they exploded. But, thankfully, the swirling water shield did its job and protected Naruto from the blast. Nicely done, Naruto. Now let's see how much you have improved these past 2 weeks, said Kushina before she then drew some water from the pond underneath her and coated her katana with it. After which she then charged forward with her katana thrusted forward at Naruto at high speed, where she cried out Tashio Yogi, treading water. D and Quat. When Naruto saw Kushina coming at him with her water-covered katana thrusted forward, he quickly prepared to counter, where just when Kushina was only a few feet away from him, Naruto quickly swung his katana down onto the water and created a large wave of water that acted like a wall that separated himself and Kushina. The wall of water of course did little to stop Kushina's attack, but when Kushina struck through the wall of water and stabbed Naruto, the wall of water collapsed and Naruto collapsed with it, revealing that the Naruto behind the wall was just a reflection created by the wall of water. Mizu no Kagayaku, glittering water. When did he fully master that? I only showed him that move a few days ago. Thought Kushina in surprise, as she had only shown Naruto that move once. But as Kushina was recovering from her surprise at Naruto mastering Mizu no Kagayaku so quickly and at how she had been tricked by Naruto, the real Naruto appeared from behind her, with his katana covered in water, charging at Kushina at his top speed with his katana thrust forward, showing that he was using Tashio Yogi. Sensing danger from behind, thanks to her many years in the Anbu division, Kushina quickly flipped backwards, just as Naruto was about to stab her, whereas she flipped over Naruto she kicked him in the back on the head slightly. This caused Naruto to fall forward and into the water, due to losing his balance as he was charging forward at high speed. Naruto of course quickly regained himself, after falling into the water and immediately swam to the surface. Unfortunately though once he got back onto his feet and onto the surface of the pond, Naruto quickly saw Kushina charging at him with astonishing speed, with her katana ready to slash at him. Knowing that he didn't have time to try and block his sensei's attack, Naruto tried to jump away and avoid the attack. Sadly though it was too late for him to try, as the next second Kushina disappeared right before his eyes and reappeared behind him with her back to him and holding her katana downward, where she simply said in a calm but serious voice, "It's over," and Quat. The next thing Naruto knew, dozens of small cuts appeared all over his body and he collapsed onto the water unable to move. 15 minutes later, "Ow! Sensei, that hurts," cried Naruto in pain as Kushina spread some healing cream over his cuts that her attack made. "Oh come brat, don't be such a baby," teased Kushina as she continued to spread the cream over Naruto's cuts. "I'm not, you just suck at being a medic. I still don't know why you won't let me treat myself and ow," said Naruto before he cried out in pain from the stinging of the healing cream being rubbed too hard onto his cuts. "You did that on purpose," cried Naruto as he glared slightly at his red-haired sensei, who just smirked. After Kushina had covered all of Naruto's cuts with the healing cream, Naruto turned to his female sensei, "Kushina-sensei, what was that last move you used on me?" "The move was called Jinsoku Mizu, Swift Water, It's one of my stronger moves, where I use my water affinity to gather tiny small blades water from the moisture in the air and around my blade, allowing me to cut my opponents multiple times when I swing it. In a way I use the very air itself as my weapon." "Wow," stated an impressed Naruto, "can you teach me that?" "Maybe later, since that move is a little bit too advanced for you yet," replied Kushina, where Naruto got a disappointed look on his face upon hearing this. "Do not look so disappointed, Naruto-san. You've already shown impressive skills by mastering most of the basic moves in Kushina's Arajuigen no Mai style," spoke Yamato, as he had been watching the sparring match between Kushina and Naruto. "He's right, Naruto, you've already progressed faster than I expected you to. You should be proud of what you have accomplished so far, but you should take your time to fully master the rest of the basic moves and then improve on them, before wanting to learn my more advanced moves. Since if you advance too quickly, you won't gain the experience needed to use the techniques to their full potential or the knowledge to later improve on them," spoke Kushina. Naruto of course nodded in understanding, as back when he was younger, Jiraiya had told him something similar, back when he was training him, stating that a man who is mastered using a wooden stick in a fight, will always defeat a novice who is using a steel sword. "Although your spar battle was very impressive, I've to say it seemed to have gone a bit too far for my taste," spoke Yamato, where he stared at Kushina. "Humph, don't look at me. I told the kid that if he wanted to learn my fighting style, it would be harsh and I wouldn't go easy on him. Beside, I held back when I used my Jinsoku Mizu, where all he got was a few cuts, for if I hadn't he would be in pieces right now," replied Kushina. Naruto of course reluctantly agreed with Kushina's comment, as he knew that Kushina could have beaten him easily at any time during their fight, since she was a former Anbu captain and had far more experience and skill than he had right now. Yamato also nodded, since he knew how strong Kushina was from several missions he had done with her over the years and knew she had held back a great deal during her spar with Naruto. But still, he had found that she might have went a little bit overboard during the fight, as regardless of how talented Naruto was, he was still only a young boy and a newly made Genin, where he could have easily gotten seriously hurt. Very well then, but we'll finish training today, as it's time for your joint training with the other teams, as Asuma-san, Kakashi-san and Kurenai-san have sent their time schedules to me inditing when it would be best for them for you to train or work with their teams, spoke Yamato. So who will I be joining today, Yamato-sensei? Asked Naruto. Today you'll be working with Kurenai-san and her team, then tomorrow you'll be working with Asuma-san and Team 10 and the next day you'll be with your former team, Team 7, answered Yamato. Naruto of course was happy he would be working with Hinata and her team first, as he hadn't seen her since the team sortings, although he wasn't too thrilled with being Kiba and could only hope he matured a bit, although it was unlikely. He didn't mind working with Team 10 much, as he didn't really know them all that well other than that girl Ino, who he crashed into a while back and who had been following him not too long ago. Although what got Naruto slightly worried about her was that, he had the sneaking suspicion that she was becoming or had already become another one of his fangirls, given how she was following him a while back. This of course was the last thing Naruto wanted or needed given how he had enough trouble with the ones he already had and didn't need anymore. But as annoyed as Naruto was about having the possibility of another fangirl and having to work with her, the thing that bothered him most was that he would be working with Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai. Sure, he was happy he would get to train a bit with the famed copycat ninja Hatake Kakashi, but even he wasn't too thrilled with having to work with Sasuke, Sai, and Sakura. Sasuke of course annoyed him the least of the three as he was strong and a serious shinobi at least, but he refused to work with others, believing that they just hold him back. Not to mention the fact that he was too busy brooding in his own personal little world to even talk to someone like an equally, always believing that they were just a waste of time and space. Next there was Sai, who although Naruto had only met once, still disliked, since Naruto found him to be a jerk, despite his friendly-like appearance. There was also the fact that there was something that was off about him, which made Naruto not trust him, despite the obvious clues, since to Naruto he seemed like some kind of human doll doing the bidding of another. Then finally there was Sakura, who Naruto found the most annoying, as it was obvious that she was infatuated with Sasuke, and wouldn't agree with anything with anyone unless Sasuke said it. What annoyed Naruto even more was that she wasn't even a serious shinobi, as she obviously only became a ninja in the hopes of getting close to Sasuke. This was of course unacceptable to Naruto as people like Sakura get herself and her team killed on a serious mission, given how her physical and other skills were minimum at best and the only thing she had going for her were her book smarts, which would only get her so far in the real world. The only thing Naruto could do was hope that at some point she would get a serious wake-up call before it was too late. After Naruto had rested a bit and ate a bit of lunch with his two senseis, he headed off to meet Kurenai and the other members of Team 8. With Kurenai currently waiting at Training Ground 2 was the Jonin sensei of Team 8 Yuhi Kurenai, who was currently waiting for her 3 students and her new part-time student Senju Naruto. As she quietly waited for her student's arrival she soon saw Naruto walking towards her. As he came closer, Kurenai noticed that Naruto had several cuts on his clothes and on his arms, which were nearly healed. "Greetings Naruto-san," spoke Kurenai friendly, as she remembered that Naruto did not like being referred to as Sama, plus since he was her student now she would treat him like any of her other students. "Oh hi Kurenai-sensei," greeted Naruto with a friendly smile. "I hope nothing serious happened?" asked Kurenai, as she indicated at the cuts on Naruto's clothes and the slight healed cuts on his arms. "No, not really, just training with Kushina-sensei," answered Naruto, where Kurenai just nodded as she heard how during spars or training Kushina could be a bit rough. "Well Naruto, since we've a few minutes before the others arrive, I believe I should tell you how exactly I'll be training you. Now as you know the Hokage has asked me to help in you training in Genjutsu. But I can only train you part-time, as I have my own team to train, but during the time that you're with my team you'll also work on missions with us." "Sure, that fine by me Kurenai-sensei. Good. Now I would like to know what kind of genjutsus you know, so that I will know where to start with your training." "Well, I know only a couple of genjutsus like Magen, Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, Demonic Illusion, False Surroundings Technique, Magen, Niju Kokoni Arazu no Jutsu, Demonic Illusion, Double False Surroundings Technique, Magen, Narakumi no Jutsu, Demonic Illusion, Hell Viewing Technique, Kori Shinshu no Jutsu, Sly Mind Effect Technique, Magen, Jubaku Satsu, Demonic Illusion, Tree Binding Death, and I also know how to detect and release myself Genjutsu '(s) and Quat." At hearing this, Kurenai raised her eyebrow, as she was impressed with Naruto's skill level in genjutsu and only wish he had been as skilled when she was his age. Naruto and Kurenai continued to talk for the next few minutes, until Kureani's team arrived. "Senju, what the hell are you doing here?" asked annoyed Kiba, when he came up to Naruto and Kurenai. "Kiba, be respectful, as Naruto here will be working with our team from time to time, where he will be training with us and doing missions with us as well," spoke Kurenai. "What?" cried Kiba in surprise. At the same time, upon hearing this, Shino raised an eyebrow and turned to look at Naruto, while Hinata smiled at having the chance of working with her friend and training with him. "Why the hell is he working with our team? He has his own team," spoke an angry Kiba. Due to special circumstances that involved Naruto, he was taken from his team and made an apprentice to 2 other Jonin senseis and will work part-time with us and his original team, Team 7 and with Team 10, replied Kurenai. "And what are these circumstances?" asked Kiba. "I'm afraid I can't tell you, Kiba, as it's on a need-to-know," answered Kurenai. At hearing this, Kiba just frowned, since as far as he was concerned, Naruto was just getting more special treatment for being the heir of the Senju clan, which proved to him that he was a sliver spoon shinobi. "So what are we doing first, Kurenai-sensei?" asked Naruto. "Well, we'll be doing a mission first at the Inuzuka dog pound," answered Kurenai, making Kiba groan, as he had been doing that kind of work ever since he had been tricked by Mizuki, hence he was hoping he'd get to do something else. Naruto of course couldn't help but smile in amusement, since he knew why Kiba was groaning and was sort of sympathetic to his plight. He was also sort of looking forward to going to the dog pound, since he hadn't seen Kurimaru since he brought him back to the Inuzuka dog pound when he saved him. Hence this mission was a good opportunity to visit him. As Naruto and Team 8 headed towards the Inuzuka clan compound, Naruto walked next to Hinata and started to talk to her, where the two of them caught up with one another about what had happened to both of them from when they last met. Inuzuka dog pound. Currently standing at the main entrance of the Inuzuka dog pound was the Inuzuka clan head Tsume along with her parent Kuromaru, who were both waiting for their ordered help with the dogs today. Fortunately, Tsume and Kuromaru did not have to wait for very long, as she soon saw Naruto, Kurenai and her team coming towards them. "Ah, good, you all right on time, although it seems you came with an extra person," spoke Tsume as she looked at Naruto and smiled. "Yes, Naruto here is on a joint mission with us. I hope that won't be a probable, Tsume-san?" asked Kurenai. "Nonsense, the more the merrier, as many hands make light work," spoke the Inuzuka clan head before she turned to Naruto again. "It's good to see you again, pup." "Same here, Tsume-san. Is Kurimaru here?" "Yep, he's here and I'm sure he'll be happy to see you," answered Tsume, before she then turned to Kurenai and the rest of the team. "Now then, I'm sure you all want to get started, so I won't hold you off any longer," spoke Tsume, where she then looked at her son. "Kiba, since you still have your punishment chores, you can do them now," and quat. When Kiba heard this, he of course groaned, as he was sick of cleaning up the kennels, as whenever he was finished he always ended up smelling like dog poop. Ignoring her son's groans, Tsume turned to her son Sensei. "Kurenai-san, you'll be helping my daughter Hana with the medical checkup on the dogs." Upon hearing this, the female Jonin sensei nodded her head, understanding what she was to do. "Uabarame-san will be doing an inventory of our supplies in the storage room and add in the supplies that we received yesterday's," spoke Tsume when she turned to Shino, who just nodded when Tsume told him what to do. And what would why you like me to do, Tsume-sama?" asked the still shy Hinata, who was a bit nervous around Tsume. At this, Tsume just smiled. "Well, you'll be working with the young Senju pup here, where the two of you'll be washing the pups, as they already had their checkup with Hana earlier this morning." "Sounds like fun, doesn't it, Hinata-chan?" said Naruto with smile as he turned to the Hyuga heiress. Hi, stuttered Hinata. Once they were all given their orders, Tsume then led everyone, with the exception of Kiba, since he knew where to go, to where they be doing their appointed jobs. When Naruto and Hinata entered the room where they be washing the pups, they saw several large litters of puppies of many different kinds running around the room and barking loudly, playing with one another. Within seconds of entering the room, Naruto suddenly saw a brown blur appear in front of him, where he was knocked down by the blur and soon felt a wet tongue licking his face and tickling him. When the brown blur knocked Naruto down onto the ground, Hinata quickly became concerned about Naruto's safety, but her concerns almost just as quickly left when she heard Naruto laughing and saw a brown wolf-like pup on top of Naruto licking his face. "Ha ha ha ha, stop it, Kurimaru, ha 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 ha, it tickles, ha ha ha, I'm happy to see you too, boy, ha 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 ha," laughed Naruto, as the small half-wolf pup was on top of him licking his face. After a few minutes, the young pup finally settled down and stopped licking Naruto's face and got off him, and barked a few times, as if greeting him, where Naruto then patted the young pup on the head lightly. Excuse me, Naruto-san, but do you know this puppy?" asked Hinata shyly. Yeah, this is Kurimaru. A few weeks back he got lost from the dog pound and was attacked by a group of kids, where I saved him and brought him back here. The two of us then became quite friendly each other, isn't that right, Kurimaru? Spoke Naruto, as he panted Kurimaru on the head again, and the little pup barked in agreement with Naruto. At hearing this Hinata smiled, as it proved without a shadow of a doubt that Naruto was indeed a very kind person. Kurimaru, I'd like to introduce you to my friend Hinata, spoke Naruto as he introduced Hinata to the young pup. Kurimaru was of course unsure about Hinata, as the young pup was natural hesitate of getting close to people, either due to his wolf-like nature or because of what happened with the children that chased after him. But Naruto continued to encourage Kurimaru to go over to Hinata, stating that she was a friend. Eventually though, the pup went over to Hinata, where when he was close enough Hinata then knelt down to him, after which she then panted the puppy gentle on the head and scratched him behind the ear, much like she would do with Akamaru. Hello Kurimaru, said Hinata as she scratched behind Kurimaru's ear, making the little puppy wag its tail, indicating that he liked what Hinata was doing. After introducing Hinata and Kurimaru, Naruto and Hinata then started to work and started to wash Kurimaru and the other puppies, which was difficult enough for Hinata and Naruto, as the puppies would often struggle a bit when they were in the water while Hinata and Naruto were washing them. The puppies would also even try and jump out of the large tub they were in, where some would succeed and run around the room a bit before Hinata or Naruto caught them. Throughout the entire event, both Hinata and Naruto were fairly wet, but they eventually got the puppies to calm down, where they could then finish washing them. But despite the fact that both Hinata and Naruto were fairly drenched from the event, both Hinata and Naruto enjoyed it and had fun washing the puppies. After a while, when they'd finished washing and drying over half the puppies, Kurenai entered the room, where she asked Naruto if he could go help Shino in the storage room with the inventory and the loading of the new supplies, while she, Kurenai, helped Hinata with washing and drying the rest of the puppies. Naruto of course agreed, where he then headed to the storage room to help Shino. When Naruto entered the storage room, he saw that Shino was having difficulty with carrying a large box filled with dog food. Upon seeing this, Naruto quickly went over to Shino and grabbed the other end of the box. Here, let me help you, unquote. Seeing Naruto, Shino nodded his head. Thank you, Senju-san, your help is appreciated. No prob, replied Naruto as he and Shino carried the large box to one of the lower shelves of the storage room. Once they'd put the box in its place, Shino then turned to Naruto. If it's not too much trouble, Senju-san, would you be able to handle sorting the rest of the boxes and crates, while I finish the inventory? Not a problem, and please call me Naruto. Very well then, Naruto-san, replied Shino with a nod, and then walked to the other end of the storage room to finish the inventory. For the next few minutes Naruto and Shino worked in silence with one another as they worked together, but after a while Naruto couldn't stand the continued silence between him and Shino. After which Naruto tried to start a conversation between him and young Aburame heir. Unfortunately, making a conversation between him and Shino proved more difficult than he thought. Not that Shino ignored his attempts to make conversation and did reply to Naruto when he spoke to him. The problem was that after answering a question or a comment from Naruto, Shino wouldn't try to continue on with the conversation. He simply continued to work in silence. Eventually though, Naruto was able to start a real conversation with Shino by using his knowledge on nature, where although Naruto's knowledge of nature was more into plants and animals, and Shino's was into insects, it was still enough to start a healthy conversation, where Shino found Naruto to be an interesting person. It didn't take long for Naruto and Shino to finish sorting out the boxes and crates into their proper location, but just as Shino was placing a small box of medicine for the dogs on the top shelf, while Naruto was holding the bottom of the ladder for him, a wet Kurimaru suddenly came running in with Hinata right behind him, crying out to him to stop. As Kurimaru ran into the storage room, he slipped on the floor due to his fur still being wet, where he then crashed into the shelf that Naruto and Shino were working on, causing it to shake, thereby causing one of the large crates that was on the top shelf right above Kurimaru to fall down towards not only him, but also Hinata, who had just caught Kurimaru. When Naruto saw the crate falling down towards both Kurimaru and Hinata, he yelled out to both of them to move, but knew that they would not be able to in time. Reacting immediately, Naruto quickly channeled his chakra to his feet to increase his speed, where he then sped off towards Hinata and Kurimaru with speed that shocked Shino, who saw what was happening from the top of the ladder. Within seconds Naruto crossed the distance between him, Hinata and Kurimaru, where right before the crate crashed on top of them, Naruto pushed both Kurimaru and Hinata out of the way and narrowly avoided being hit himself. After the crate crashed onto the floor, Naruto found himself on top of Hinata, hugging her tightly, with Kurimaru squeezed between them. Due to Hinata holding onto Kurimaru when the crate fell and Naruto grabbing hold of her when he pushed her and Kurimaru away from the falling crate. When Naruto looked at Hinata, he found that the young Hyuga heiress was blushing bright red, due to the fact that she had never been in such close contact with a boy the same age as herself. This was made even worse for her, since not only was Naruto pressed tightly against her chest, but Kurimaru was also caught between the developing parts of her chest, upon which he began wiggling in between them, hoping to squeeze out between Naruto and Hinata, making the situation all the more worse and embarrassing for the young Hyuga girl. And if Hinata thought things couldn't get even more embarrassing, they did when Kurenai, Kiba, Akamaru, Tsume, Kuromaru, Hana and the three Heimaru brothers came running in after hearing the loud crash of the crate. When they entered the room they were of course surprised to see Naruto on top, Hinata hugging her tightly. Well, I've to say, you certainly move fast, don't chop up? Since I've heard rumors that you were becoming quite popular with the young girls in the village. And quat, commented Tsume with amused smirk, but as amused as Tsume was before, the sight of Kurimaru popping his head out between Hinata and Naruto at that moment and wriggling even more, trying to get out between the two Jinan, caused the female clan head to burst out laughing at the sight. Even Hana and Kurenai chuckled slightly at the sight, at how funny it was. The only one who wasn't laughing was Kiba, as from the look of things, Kiba's point of view that is, it looked like Naruto was trying to force himself on his teammate. Senju, what the hell are you doing to Hinata? Cried Kiba angrily. When Naruto heard Tsume comment he naturally became embarrassed and turned red much like Hinata, although nowhere as near as red as she was, but after Kiba's angry accusation Naruto quickly let go of Hinata and jumped onto his feet, waving his hands in denial. Wait, it's not what it looks like, I swear, said Naruto, worried at what Kurenai and the others were thinking. Well then why don't you tell us exactly what happened? Asked Kurenai with an amused smirk, as she was certain there was a reasonable explanation, as she highly doubt Naruto would do anything inappropriate. Once Naruto had helped Hinata back onto her feet, who were still very red, and he had finished explaining what happened, Kiba was as always, skeptical of Naruto's explanation, but thankfully Shino backed Naruto up as he had seen what had happened, hence Kiba had no choice but to believe Naruto. Once Naruto finished his explanation as to what happened, he turned to Hinata and asked if she was okay. Hinata of course stuttered out how she was fine and thanked Naruto saving her. Kurimaru also thanked Naruto for saving him by jumping onto Naruto again and licking him. Once Naruto got Kurimaru to settle down again, Naruto then apologized to Tsume as to what happened to the crate and for the stuff that was broken in it. But Tsume told him that it was alright and that she'd rather have what just happened now, than have somebody getting hurt. Once the matter was then settled, Shino and Naruto cleaned up the mess, after which Naruto and the rest of the team finished off the rest of their duties, where Tsume thanked them and that they could leave. Well, good work all of you. Since the mission is now done you all have the rest of the day off, spoke Kurenai. Upon hearing this, the four Jinan all nodded their heads in understanding and went their own separate ways, but before Naruto could walk very far away, he suddenly heard his name being called out by someone. When he turned up he saw a blushing Hinata slowly walk up to him. What's up, Hinata-chan? Asked Naruto, where he heard her mumble something, while at the same time pressing her index fingers in and out. Author's note, you know that thing Hinata does. But since she was mumbling Naruto couldn't quite hear what she was saying. I'm sorry Hinata-chan, but I can't hear you, what did you say? Asked Naruto. I want to thank YUA again, as YUCC could have been hurt when YYU saved me, stuttered the still blushing, shy young girl. At this Naruto smiled. No problem Hinata-chan, since that what friends are for and I'm sure you would have done the same for me and quat. At hearing this Hinata couldn't help but blush a deeper shade of red, as few people ever really complimented her in any way, where she thanked Naruto again, after which Naruto told her it was not a problem and then shunshined, body flickered, away. Currently standing not far away from where Naruto and Hinata were just talking, was the team sensei Kurenai, who could not help but overhear Hinata thanking Naruto again. As she listened to the two Jinan talk, Kurenai also noticed how Hinata was blushing an even darker shade of red when Naruto complimented her and was mumbling a lot more, not to mention that every time Hinata looked at Naruto she blushed a little more. When she saw this Kurenai couldn't help but smile, as it didn't take a genius to figure out that the young girl was developing a crush on Naruto, especially considering how Naruto put himself in harm's way when he saved her and the young puppy. You certainly live up to your reputation, Naruto-san, thought Kurenai, as she remembered hearing from Kushina several days ago that Naruto had developed a little habit of saving princesses and gaining their attraction. Since she had heard from Kushina that Naruto helped protect and save the daughter of the former high priestess of Oni no Kuni, Demon Country, from a group of enemy shinobis. She also heard from Kushina that Naruto even saved the fire daimyo's granddaughter from a wild bear. Hence Naruto lived up to his reputation by saving Hinata, as she was the heiress of the Hyuga clan and was basically a princess of the clan, due to being the daughter of the clan head Hyuga Hayashi. When Naruto left, Kurenai then walked up to Hinata and smiled to her. Pretending to know nothing, Kurenai asked Hinata if she would like her to walk her, Hinata, home, which Hinata too agreed. As they walked to the Hyuga compound, Kurenai started a conversation with Hinata, Naruto is quite an interesting young man? Hi, Naruto-kun is a very kind person, replied Hinata with a slight blush, which was the final confirmation Kurenai needed, when she heard Hinata's suffix and saw the blush at the mention of him, which of course made Kurenai smile again. After which the two silently walked together to the Hyuga compound. Next day at Training Ground 5, currently standing in the middle of Training Ground 5, smoking a cigarette, was the leader of Team 10, Sararobi Asuma, son of the Sandaime Hokage. Asuma was currently waiting for the arrival of his team, along with a new addition Senju Naruto, who was doing joint training with them today. As Asuma waited for the four Genin to arrive, he soon sensed a presence coming up from behind him from the tree line. Asuma could tell that the person had some skill, as the person hid their presence well and made sure not to make any sound and keep hidden. But even still, Asuma wasn't a Jonin of Konohagakure for nothing and could sense the person coming, thanks to many years of being a shinobi. You might as well stop hiding. I know you're there, spoke Asuma as he waited for the person to show himself. At hearing this, the person knew the jig was up and jumped out of the tree he was hiding in and appeared in front of Asuma, revealing the person to be none other than Naruto. I guess I should have figured you would have sensed me coming, stated Naruto, as he had wanted to see how good his stealth skills were and who better to test them against than a Jonin, who also happened to be a former member of the Shogonen Junichi, 12 Guardian Ninjas. I admit you're pretty good, but you're still a long way off before you're able to sneak up on a Jonin level shinobi without them sensing you, replied Asuma, where Naruto just nodded. So where are the others? Asked Naruto. They should be here soon, but before they arrive I thought I should tell you what I have planned to do today, said Asuma. Today I'm basically going to have a mock battle, where you will face against my team by yourself. Why? Would you want that, Asuma-sensei? Wouldn't it be better that I face off against them one at a time or have us split up in pairs? Asked Naruto. Normally that would be true, but you see I've been having a little trouble with getting my team to work together, as Shikamaru lacks any real motivation to do much, despite the fact that he has the ability to be an excellent shinobi. Choji also doesn't have any real motivation either and easily loses confidence in himself, where he would much prefer gorging himself than train or fight, said Asuma, where Naruto nodded in understanding, after which Asuma continued on. Ino is also another problem, as she has yet to come to realize what the life of a shinobi really is, as she focuses more on how she looks than she does when it comes to training. She avoids eating much and is constantly on some kind of diet, and frets over her clothes and hair, worrying that they get dirty, which of course is linked to Ino's biggest problem, stated Asuma. She a fangirl, stated Naruto bluntly before Asuma could finish, who just nodded. Yay, hence why I'm hoping that if you fight against them you can get them to work together or at least see the value of working together as a team, spoke Asuma. Plus I'm hoping that if Ino is forced to fight you, she might become a little more serious in her training instead of fretting over her looks, after fighting her new crush, continued Asuma with a smirk. Since when he mentioned this, the young blonde groaned loudly and slapped his forehead with annoyance, as Asuma had confirmed what he had already suspected. Ino had become his newest fangirl. After a minute or two Naruto soon got over the annoyance of having another fangirl and then spoke to Asuma. Well, I've no problem in that, but I'll have to hold back on them a lot, as I can't use most of my abilities in quad. Asuma of course nodded at this, as he knew that his father had ordered Naruto keep his abilities hidden for as long as possible, or at least until the Chunin exam. This was because the Hokage feared that if people knew what Naruto could too, then word might leak out to the other shinobi villages, who would then most likely send assassins after Naruto, to prevent him becoming a threat to them in the future. That's not a problem, as I wouldn't want you to go all out on them to begin with. All I want you to do is basically get them to work together, answered Asuma, where Naruto just nodded. Now before they arrive, there's something else I would like to ask you? Sure, what is it, Asuma-sensei? Asked Naruto. Well, I heard from Kakashi about a wind technique that you created and I was wondering if you could show it to me? Asked Asuma, as he was interested in seeing the technique with his own eyes. Sure, said Naruto, as he liked to show off a little every now and again, since for most of his life he had to keep hidden due to fear of his parents' enemies coming after him. Plus he sort of liked getting attention for something he did and not because of whose son or descendant he was. Naruto then drew out his katana from his back and then started to channel his wind chakra to the tip of his blade and swung it in a horizontal slash while crying out Sarashu Fu, wind slash. Where a crescent-shaped blade of wind erupted from the katana blade tip. The blade of wind flew at a nearby tree with frightening speed, where the blade of wind sliced through the tree and continued on to another tree behind the first, cutting right through it as well. After which the crescent blade of wind dissipated and the top halves of the two trees fell to the ground at roughly the same time together. When Asuma saw the technique he could not help but gap at it. Sure, he knew all about it, as Kakashi had told him about it. But seeing it with his own eyes, instead of hearing about it secondhand, was another story. After getting over his surprise, Asuma then turned to Naruto. Pretty impressive, kid. How did you come up with it? Ah well, I created it by accident, when I was training and using Hien no Jutsu, flying swallow technique. Back when I was practicing and using it, after Uro-sennin taught me how to do it, I accidentally added too much chakra and lost focus of the wind chakra around my katana when I was swinging it. I then lost control of it, where I created a rough wind-like blade and did some damage to a nearby boulder. When I saw what I did, I came up with the idea of Sarashu Fu, whereby channeling a concentrated amount of wind chakra into the tip of my blade, and firing it with exact timing in the shape of a crescent moon as I swing my sword, spoke Naruto. After hearing this, Asuma couldn't help but shake his head in amusement and puff out a puff of smoke from his mouth, as he took his cigarette out. Even after hearing about this and seeing the technique with his own eyes, he still found it little hard to believe that Naruto could create something so simple, yet so brilliant and deadly. But then reminded himself that Naruto was the son of Tsunade, the slug princess of the Densetsu no Sannin, legendary 3 ninjas, and the Yondaime Hokage, better known as Konoha no Kyoto Senko, Yellow Flash of the Leaf, the 2 strongest shinobis of their time. Hence the kid had the potential to be great with his pedigree alone. I'm also guessing it's a lot harder to do than it sounds? Asked Asuma, where Naruto nodded. Yeah, it is, as it took me a while to master the technique before I finally got the hang of it, and even then I had to master the Hien no Jutsu first, stated Naruto, where Asuma nodded in understanding. Do you think it'd be possible for you to teach me it? Asked Asuma, as he could see a lot possibilities for that technique, as would a highly useful one to know. Sure, I'd be happy to, said Naruto with a smile and with some pride, as it wasn't every day that a famed and highly skilled and veteran Jonin shinobi would ask a Jonin to teach him something. At hearing this, Asuma nodded and thanked Naruto, but before they could continue their conversation, they noticed that Shikamaru and the other members of Team 10 were heading towards them. When Shikamaru and the others reached Asuma, they quickly noticed Naruto, which of course surprised the 3 Jonin. Hey Asuma-sensei, why is Senju Naruto here? Asked Shikamaru in a bored-like tone, not caring all that much. Well, due to special circumstances, Naruto here was removed from Team 7 and made an apprentice of 2 other shinobis. The Hokage also decided that since Naruto is not on any Jonin team now, he will work together with other teams like ours and do missions and training with us from time to time, so that he can learn to work with a team, answered Asuma. At hearing this, the members of Team 10 had different reactions to this new development. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow, but then just shrugged his shoulders and sighed, what a drag. Knowing Asuma-sensei, he probably work us twice as hard as normal now. Hopefully though, Senju here would be a troublesome person, thought Shikamaru. Choji of course didn't mind much and just kept eating the crisps that he was munching on. Ino on the other hand was ecstatic at hearing that Naruto was going to be on her team. Yes, Naruto-kun is going to be on my team now. Take that, Sakura, you're not the only one that has her man on her team now, thought Ino. I guess that's okay, said Shikamaru, but what happened over there? Indicating at the 2 falling trees. Ah well, I was just doing a bit training, while I was waiting for all of you, and I got a bit carried away, lied Asuma, not wanting to put Naruto in the spotlight. Shikamaru of course narrowed his eyes as with suspicion at this, as he found it difficult to accept his sensei excuse, but before he could ask further on the matter, Asuma spoke again. Now then, since that matter is settled, I think we should have a little introduction with each other. What exactly would you like us to say to one another, sensei? Asked Ino. How about we tell each other our names, what we like, what we dislike, our dreams for the future and our hobbies, spoke Naruto, taking a page out of Kakashi's book. At this, Asuma nodded, seeing as the best way for Naruto to get to know the rest of the team. That's fine, I start things off. My name is Sarutobi Asuma, my likes are soda, sausages, Tororo and smoking my cigarettes. My dislikes are people who make a fuss over my smoking, people who are always in a hurry and those who betray their oaths. My hobbies are playing shogi and my dream for the future is that I can one day have a family of my own and quat. Once Asuma finished, Naruto decided to go next and help break the ice. My name is Senju Naruto, my likes include ramen, my ka-chan, Shizune Wani-chan, our pet pig Tauntaun, Uro-sennin, playing pranks, my friends, training and reading. I dislike bullies, traitors, the 3 minutes that take to cook my ramen and perverts. My hobbies are training, reading and gardening and making perverts suffer, and my dreams for the future are to be a great medic nin like my ka-chan, to restore my clan and to be the greatest Hokage. That way, people will stop always comparing me to the rest of my family and acknowledge me as myself and not someone related to great ninjas, said Naruto. At hearing this, Asuma nodded, Shikamaru just shrugged, Choji just kept munching on his crisps, while Ino had a dreamy look on her face. He's perfect, cried Ino happily inside her mind. He's not some pervert like some guys, he's strong, polite, considerate, kind, likes gardening and he makes perverts suffer and quat. As Ino was thinking this, she was also dreaming of what it would be like to be the wife of the next future Hokage. Once Naruto had finished his introduction, Asuma then motioned Shikamaru go next, who muttered troublesome before he spoke. My name is Nara Shikamaru. My likes are watching the clouds drift by, mackerel and kelp. My dislikes are boiled eggs, troublesome people, especially loud troublesome women, ow, stated Shikamaru, before he cried out in pain as annoyed Ino smacked him on the back of the head for his comment. Troublesome, muttered Shikamaru as he rubbed his head, before he continued, my hobbies are playing shogi and taking long naps in my dream, it too troublesome to talk about in quat. Upon hearing Shikamaru's response, Naruto didn't know what to think, as from the way Shikamaru looked and acted, it seemed that he didn't really belong in the shinobi world. But he quickly put those thoughts aside, as his mother had told him that in the shinobi world, appearance counts for very little. Also, he had heard of Shikamaru's clan form his mother, where she had told him that despite their lazy-like appearance or laid-back attitude, they were skilled shinobis and expert and skilled tacticians, making them dangerous people to have as enemies. After Shikamaru had finished his introduction, Asuma then had Choji go next. My name is Akimichi Choji, my like are my friends, eating at Korean barbecue and eating junk food. The things I dislike are stuff I can't eat and people who hurt my friends and who call me fat or any stuff like that. As for my hobbies, well, I like buying and eating food and hanging out with Shikamaru. As for dreams, well, I like to one day run and own my own all-you-can-eat restaurant and quat. With Choji introduction done, Asuma turned to Ino, who was the only one left to do their introduction. My name is Yamanaka Ino, my likes are stylish clothes, cherry tomatoes and pudding, and looks at Naruto and giggles, making Naruto silently groan in annoyance. My dislikes are sashimi and disgusting stuff that smells. My hobbies are shopping and my dream. Looks at Naruto again and giggles, making Naruto silently groan again in annoyance, as he had to guess what Ino dream was in quat. Once all the introductions were done, Asuma then spoke up. Now that everyone gotten to know each other better, we are going to have a little sparring match. Ah man, but I just ate, said Choji, after he finished eating his crisps. You always just ate, you moron, said annoyed Ino, before she turned to her sensei. What kind of sparring match are we going to have, sensei? Asked Ino, where she silently fantasied, her and Naruto fighting side by side, and him protecting her from harm, like in the romance novels she read sometimes. The match will be between you three against Naruto, replied Asuma. But Asuma-sensei, that's unfair to Naruto-kun, stated Ino, wouldn't it be better if one of us was paired with him? Where Ino was ready to volunteer herself to join Naruto. No, you three against Naruto will do fine, as Naruto can more than handle himself in a fight, replied Asuma, where the three other Jonin looked unsure, but did what their sensei told them. Still unsure about the way the match was laid out, Team 10 quickly went into their designated position at the other end of the training field. As they walked over to their position, Shikamaru suddenly spoke up. Hey guys, listen, I think I know why Asuma-sensei is having us all go against Naruto. Why is that, Shika? Asked Choji. Asuma-sensei wants us to work together against Naruto, in the hope of improving our teamwork skills, spoke Shikamaru. Are you sure about that, Shika? Because I don't think it would be much of a match with three of us against him, said Choji. No way, Naruto-kun is way stronger than you think, Choji, said Ino. As troublesome as it is, I agree with Ino on this one, since other than what he did in the Jonin exams, what do we really know of Naruto's skill? At this, Choji had no real answer to Shikamaru's question, as to be perfectly honest, with the exception of his introduction and what he did in the graduation exam, they didn't really know all that much about Naruto, as he was a total mystery to them. Ino, you and Sakura are back to being friends again, right? Asked Shikamaru, where Ino just nodded, stating that they were. Then did Sakura tell you anything about what he could do? Since they were both on the same team together during their team test, before Naruto was transferred from the team, asked Shikamaru. No, she didn't, as she was forbidden from telling anyone what Naruto-kun could do until it officially declared, by order of the Hokage. If she or Sasuke told anyone, they would have their ninja licenses revoked, their chakra sealed and charged with endangering village security and spent 20 years in a maximum security cell. I know that was true since my dad told me there was a council meeting about Naruto-kun, but he wouldn't tell me what it was about, stated Ino, where Shikamaru and Choji nodded as they had heard similar things from their own fathers. The only thing she could tell me was that Naruto-kun was amazingly strong, stronger than Sasuke, finished Ino, where caused Shikamaru to frown further and caused Choji to worry, as they both knew that out of all the members in their old class, Sasuke was the strongest, and if Naruto was stronger than Sasuke, then that meant that they were in serious trouble. The only chance we now have in beating Naruto is if we work together, okay, stated the young Nara heir, where both Ino and Choji nodded. Once the four genins were in opposite ends of one another and Asuma was standing in between them, he raised his arm up into the air and shouted out, begin. As soon as Asuma did this, Choji quickly did his Nikudan Sensha, human bullet tank, and charged straight at Naruto at full speed. Normally when faced with a situation like this, Naruto would have used his superhuman strength or used one of his Doton jutsus or his Sirashu Fu to stop his opponent. But since this was basically a mock battle, he couldn't go all out, especially since he was ordered by his grandfather the Hokage, 1, to not reveal his true abilities, unless he absolutely needed to. Hence Naruto knew he had to make do by using limited abilities. Reacting quickly, Naruto quickly jumped out of the way of the oncoming Choji, but when he jumped out of Choji's path he came under assault by a small hail of kunai and shurikens from Ino. Seeing them, Naruto immediately took out his katana and skillfully deflected the kunais and shurikens, but as he did, he suddenly realized that the kunais and shurikens from Ino were just a distraction. For out of the corner of his eyes Naruto saw a long stretching shadow moving towards from his left. Upon seeing the stretching shadow, Naruto knew it was Shikamaru's, where he quickly jumped backwards, high into the air. When Shikamaru saw this, he quickly stretched his shadow forward, hoping to get Naruto when he landed. But when Naruto landed back onto the ground, he realized that Naruto was too far away to his shadow to reach him, upon which he called his shadow back. When Naruto saw this, he began to wonder why Shikamaru did not have his shadow go after him. But after thinking it over for a minute, he quickly realized that there was a limit to how far Shikamaru could stretch his shadow. This was of course something Naruto knew he could use in this fight, but he would have to figure out how far exactly Shikamaru could stretch his shadow. Knowing that Shikamaru was the most dangerous of the three, Naruto knew he would have to take him out quickly, where with Shikamaru down, Ino and Choji would then quickly follow. Taking out several shurikens, Naruto then threw them at Shikamaru, who quickly moved out of the way to dodge them. But what he didn't know was that Naruto used Kage Shuriken no Jutsu, Shadow Shuriken technique, and threw twice as many shurikens than he appeared to, where they hid within the shadow of the first wave of shurikens. So when Shikamaru moved out of the way of the first wave of shurikens, he was hit by the hidden wave. Fortunately though, despite being caught unguarded with Naruto's little trick, Shikamaru was still able to guard himself, where the most he got was a few scratches on his arms. With Shikamaru temporarily distracted, Naruto quickly charged straight at Shikamaru with his katana, but as he headed for Shikamaru he had to deflect several shurikens thrown by Ino with his katana, who tried to stop him, but failed in doing so. Seeing that her attack failed to stop, Ino quickly jumped in front of Shikamaru with a kunai out forward to try and block Naruto's attack. When Naruto saw Ino jump in front of Shikamaru, he could tell that she wouldn't be able to stop him, as he could clearly see the nervousness and hesitation in her, by the way she took her defensive stance, not wanting to really hurt the young Yamanaka heiress, nor wanting to have to deal with her and give Shikamaru a chance to capture him in his Kage Main no Jutsu, Shadow Imitation Technique. Naruto quickly disappeared in a blur right before Shikamaru's and Ino's eyes and reappeared right behind Shikamaru with his sword raised, where all Ino and Shikamaru could think was fast. When Naruto reappeared behind Shikamaru, he quickly spun his katana around so that the back of the blade was forward, where when he hit the young Nara, he would be just knocked out. But before Naruto could swing his katana fully and knock Shikamaru out, he suddenly heard a loud rumbling sound, where when he turned around he saw Choji in his human meat tank form rolling towards him and shouting out, "Oh no you don't." Seeing this, Naruto quickly jumped away from Shikamaru and into the air to avoid Choji's attack, after which he then quickly threw several kunais at the ground around Choji, embedding them deeply into the ground. Thinking Naruto was trying to hit him with kunai, Choji tried to move out of the way, but when he tried, he found he couldn't move. "What's wrong with Choji, why doesn't he move?" asked Ino. "He can't look more closely," stated Shikamaru, as he saw with his keen eyes what had happened to his best friend. When Ino narrowed her eyes to look more closely, she noticed the thin steel wire wrapped around Choji, keeping him from moving. "Shinobi wire," stated Ino with surprise, where Shikamaru just nodded. Yay, Naruto purposely missed Choji with his kunai so that he could trap Choji in the shinobi wire, which was wrapped around the kunais, where when Choji saw the kunais thrown at him, he would try and move away, thereby fully tangling himself in the shinobi wire. Also, the more Choji moves the tighter the wire will get, keeping him from moving altogether, stated Shikamaru, where he had to silently complimented Naruto, as it was good move. When Naruto landed back on the ground, he was quickly put on the defensive by Shikamaru, who had used his Kage Main no Jutsu to stretch his shadow towards Naruto. Seeing this, Naruto began to jump backwards to keep ahead of Shikamaru's shadow, while at the same time, he was also trying to see how far Shikamaru could stretch his shadow, so that he could have an estimate of his safe and danger zone with Shikamaru. After jumping back a couple of meters away from Shikamaru, Naruto then found the limit to the stretching of Shikamaru's shadow. But after finding out the limits of Shikamaru's technique, Naruto then saw Choji free himself from the shinobi wire by deactivating his Nikudan Sensha and returning to his original form. After seeing this, Naruto then decided it would be best to make a tactical retreat, so that he could plan out his next move against Shikamaru and the others, where he quickly jumped into the tree line to hide. After Naruto went into the tree line, Shikamaru and the others decided not to go after Naruto, for fear of being ambushed by him. They then quickly took up a defensive stance formation, where they had their backs to one another and could see any kind of attack that Naruto would make from any given angle. As they waited, Shikamaru began to plan out what to do and figure out what Naruto would do next. After a few minutes of waiting, they soon came under attack from Naruto, who appeared in the air above them and dropped down several kunai and shurikens down on them, forcing them to break apart. Shit, he's trying to break us apart and take us out one at a time, thought Shikamaru as he avoided the kunai and shurikens from above. After avoiding the failing projections, Shikamaru started to look around for Naruto and where he would appear next. As he looked around, he saw Naruto suddenly appear behind Ino and was about to knock her out. "Ino, watch out," cried Shikamaru to his female team members. After hearing Shikamaru cry, Ino quickly tried to spin around to face Naruto with her kunai, but when she tried, Naruto caught her arm, which held her kunai, as she was in mid-spin, stopping her from fully facing Naruto. "Sorry, Ino-chan, but this is where it ends for you," spoke Naruto, as he was about to deliver a chop to the back of her neck to knock her out. But before he could do this, Shikamaru threw a kunai at Naruto, forcing him to jump away from Ino, where Choji then steamrolled his way towards Naruto from his left-hand side in his Nikudan Sensha form. Knowing he didn't have much time, Naruto quickly took out a kunai with a low-medium level exploding note tied to it and threw it at the ground a few feet from him. When Choji rolled across the kunai, it exploded and blasted him up into the air and sent him crashing into several trees. Fortunately though, due to being in his human bullet form and the fact that the exploding note was a medium level 1, no real harm was done to Choji. After dealing with Choji, Naruto suddenly saw a shadow tendril heading for him. Upon seeing them, Naruto immediately started jumping backwards to avoid Shikamaru's shadow, knowing there was a limit to how far he could go. When he got to the point where he knew Shikamaru's shadow could no longer reach him, he stopped, knowing he was safe, and as he suspected, Shikamaru's shadow stopped a foot away from him. "Nice try, Shikamaru, but I know you can't reach me from here with your shadow, as this is as far as it can go," said Naruto with a smile, which quickly faded when he saw Shikamaru smirk. "I wouldn't be so sure of that," Naruto replied Shikamaru, where the next thing Naruto knew, he found himself frozen. What?" cried Naruto in surprise as he found that he couldn't move. Deciding to let Naruto in at what happened, Shikamaru turned his head around, making Naruto do the same and allowing him to see how Shikamaru caught him. When Naruto turned around, he saw a shadow tendril come up from the shadow of a nearby tree and merging with his shadow. After which, when Naruto turned back to face Shikamaru, where he saw a second shadow tendril coming from Shikamaru's, merging with another tree's shadow. After seeing this, Naruto realized how Shikamaru caught him. He had realized that Shikamaru had tricked him by using the first shadow tendril to keep him, Naruto, distracted and make him go where Shikamaru wanted him to go. While at the same time, Shikamaru sent a second shadow tendril into the shadow of one of the nearby trees, thereby using it as a sword or rely with the other shadows of the trees, allowing him to extend the reach of his shadow farther than it normally could, as well as use it to sneak up on Naruto from behind, when he least expected it. When he realized this, Naruto had to hand it to Shikamaru, as he had played him, Naruto, perfectly and caught him. "I'm afraid this is checkmate," Naruto stated Shikamaru, believing he had it won, after which he turned to his female teammate. "Ino, I need you to take control of Naruto's body, so that I can realize him from my Kage main no jutsu and we can tie him up." "Right," replied Ino with a nod, where she then a few quick hand seals. "Sorry Naruto-kun. Shintenshin no jutsu, mind-body switch technique." After doing the technique, Ino's body slumped over and Ino's voice suddenly spoke from Naruto's. "Okay Shikamaru, I'm in control, you see, spoke Ino, but before she could finish speaking, Naruto puffed away in a puff of smoke, after which Ino was sent flying back into her body, where she fell onto her back. "What the hell just happened?" cried a surprised Ino, which quickly turned to panic when she no longer saw Naruto. Did Naruto-kun suddenly commit suicide and blow himself up? "Calm down Ino, you're being troublesome again." "Naruto didn't blow himself up, as that wasn't the real Naruto, it was some sort of clone," replied Shikamaru with a frown. "But how? He felt real," asked Ino, as she knew that the Naruto, whose body she entered, was real and no illusion. "TCH, I don't know," replied the annoyed Shikamaru, as things were just getting more complicated. "What a drag. I knew this Senju guy would troublesome, but I didn't think he'd be this troublesome. If I knew what he could do, I could make up a proper plan to get him, but since I don't, our chances of beating him are very low. Man, I don't even know why I even have to put up with stuff like this. I much prefer taking a quiet nap and watching the clouds go by," thought annoyed Shikamaru. As Shikamaru was thinking over what to do next, he suddenly heard Ino shout out to him, where when he turned he saw 3 kunai flying towards him at high speed from some bushes from the tree line. After seeing them, Shikamaru quickly tried to move out of the way, but couldn't avoid them fully, where he was cut by them in both arms and his right leg, causing him to fall to the ground. When he hit the ground, Shikamaru then saw the real Naruto appear out of the bush from where the kunais came from. Upon seeing Naruto, Shikamaru immediately realized that Naruto had sent his clone in to attack them, so distract them and keep them busy so that he could wait for an opening to appear and attack them. Shit, I walked right into this one, thought Shikamaru angrily. Man, that was close. If I had gone myself, instead of sending a clone, there's no doubt that Shikamaru would have caught me. But still, I better end this now and not give him any more chances, as he too dangerous to ignore, thought Naruto, where he redrew his katana from his back and prepared to take care of Shikamaru and Ino. Unfortunately, before Naruto could finish of Ino and Shikamaru, he suddenly heard a familiar rumbling sound, where the next thing he knew, Choji came bursting from the tree line in his Nikudan Sensha form. After which he made a sharp turn and sped straight for Naruto, forcing Naruto to move away from Shikamaru and Ino, where Choji then followed after him. Not wanting to waste the opportunity that Choji gave him, the young Nara quickly formed the necessary seals needed to do his Kagemain no Jutsu, where he formed a shadow tendril and connected with the shadows of the trees, just as he did when he faced against the Naruto clone. He then used the shadows of the trees as rely points for his own shadow to extend its lengths, where he then created several small tendrils and had them come up from behind Naruto and surround him from multiple angles, where they all converged on him. At the same time, as he was avoiding Choji, Naruto saw out of the corner of his eyes the different shadow tendrils surrounding him and converging in on him on multipliable sides, with Choji coming at him head on. Shit, muttered Naruto, when he saw this, as he knew he was trapped. The next thing Ino and Shikamaru saw, was Naruto being caught in Shikamaru's Kagemain no Jutsu, freezing him in place and Choji crushing him under his attack. Naruto-kun, cried Ino as she saw her new crush being steamrolled by her teammate. But as Ino was about to break into tears over the loss of her new love, Shikamaru suddenly spoke up. Calm down, Ino, and stop being so loud, spoke Shikamaru with a slight annoyed tone, where he muttered, troublesome woman. But Naruto-kun is, cried Ino, but was interrupted by Shikamaru before he could finish. Isn't dead, look, spoke Shikamaru, as he indicated towards the believed to be crushed Naruto, where when Ino looked she saw a crushed wooden log, showing that Naruto had used a Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, at the last second, allowing him to avoid being captured in Shikamaru's Kagemain no Jutsu and before Choji could flatten him with his Nikudan Sensha. At seeing this, Ino sighed with relief at Naruto not being dead, while Shikamaru just frowned, as he knew that the longer this battle went on, the worse things would get from him, since he knew that they needed to capture Naruto now and take him out, as they knew too little about his abilities to beat him in a drawn-out battle. Soon enough, Choji joined up with the rest of his team, where Shikamaru began to plan out their next move. But just as soon as they regrouped, 8 Narutos appeared out of the tree line and charged straight at them, half of them carrying kunais and the other half holding katanas. Crap, how did he make so many clones? Cried Choji in surprise, where Shikamaru just narrowed his eyes. Once Naruto and his clones made their appearance, they quickly charged at the members of Team 10 and attacked them, where they forced them to break apart from one another. Despite the fact they were forced away from one another, the members of Team 10 were able to hold their own against the clones, where Choji used his Nikudan Sensha to flatten 3 separate clones, causing them to puff away. Shikamaru also had some success with them, where he caught 4 more of them with his Kagemain no Jutsu and got them to destroy each other. This of course left the last Naruto, who was fighting Ino, meaning he had to be the real Naruto, where Choji and Shikamaru were about to go over to help their female teammate and surround Naruto. But just when things seemed to be going well for the members of Team 10, Naruto took out a handful of smoke bombs and threw them onto the ground, creating a large cloud of smoke that covered the training area. Cough, cough, damn it, cough, I need to get out of here fast, cough, cough, said Shikamaru, as he made his way out of the smoke-filled area. At the same time, standing outside the smoke-filled area, on a thick tree branch of a tree, was the sensei of Team 10 Sarutobi Asuma, who had been watching the battle. Not bad, Naruto, using the clones to separate Shikamaru and the others and then using the smoke as a screen to keep them apart and take them out one at a time. But still, it'll take more than this to defeat Shikamaru, as he won't fall for such obvious tactics, thought the son of the Hokage. Once Shikamaru made his way out of the smoke-filled area, he immediately started to look for the members of the rest of his team, since it was obvious to him that the smoke screen was to help further separate them from one another. Hence he had to hurry and find the rest of his teammates. Fortunately, it didn't take him long for him to find Ino, who had emerged from the smoke coughing heavily. Ino, are you okay? asked Shikamaru as he went up to the blonde-haired girl. Cough, cough, yeah, I'm fine, but's where Choji? Asked Ino. I don't know, but he can't be far. We have to hurry, as Naruto's plan is to separate us and break us apart, so that it would be easier for him to beat us, replied Shikamaru, where Ino just nodded in understanding. Luckily though, Shikamaru and Ino didn't have to look far, as Choji quickly came running towards them, panting slightly. Choji, you okay? Asked Shikamaru. Yeah, I'm fine, just a little tired, replied Choji. Do you want something to eat? As I've some chocolate in my pouch. Nah, I'm not hungry, thanks though. At this Shikamaru just nodded, where he turned and looked at Ino's dress where he saw something. Hey Ino, you've some dirt on your dress. Huh? Said Ino as she looked at the spot Shikamaru indicated. Oh yay, it must have happened when I was stumbling through the smoke. It's nothing, I'll clean it later and quat. At Shikamaru just nodded again, where he then said that they should go and find Naruto. But after only walking a few feet, Shikamaru suddenly took out a kunai with his left hand and spun around, where he pointed it at Choji's neck. Shikamaru, what are you doing? Cried Choji in surprise and confusion. Can the act? I know you're not, Choji stated Shikamaru with usual seriousness. What are you talking about? Of course I'm, stated Choji, but was interrupted by Shikamaru. I know you're not the real Choji, because I know Choji better than anyone and I know that Choji would never pass up on free food, spoke Shikamaru. But as he said this, he found a kunai pointed at his head by Ino. Very impressive, Shikamaru, but even still you lost, replied Ino, who suddenly revealed to be Naruto. TSK, I don't think so, replied the Nara heir, where Naruto suddenly found that he couldn't move, where when Naruto looked down, he saw that Shikamaru had caught him in his Kage main no jutsu. Kage main no jutsu? But when? Said Naruto with clear surprise. Since when I met you, back when you were disguised as Ino and came out of the smoke, before you saw me. But how did you know that I wasn't the real Ino? I didn't, at least not until I asked you about the dirt on your dress, where you said it was nothing. Ino would never say that if she saw dirt on her dress, as she would yell and complain about something like for the rest of the day and quat. At hearing that, Naruto could only shake his head, and would have smacked himself forgetting that, as Asuma had mentioned Ino being like that earlier. Pretty good, but still, how did you know that I disguised myself as your teammates? Your plan was good but fairly obvious, where you had your clones attack us and then separate us from one another, where you then created that smoke screen cover the entire field. If your goal had been really to separate us from one another and take us out one by one, you could have done so without the large smoke screen. While Choji and I were dealing with your clones, you could have taken out Ino and fled. But instead you waited till we had destroyed your clones and before we could gang up on you. You then used the smoke screen to quickly take out Choji and Ino, where you used a henge to turn into Ino and you created a clone to turn into Choji, which would increase your chances in taking me out. Since you calculated that even if I was suspicious of your plan, I wouldn't suspect that you had taken out both my teammate, allowing you to take me by surprise and quat. Upon hearing this, Naruto could only smirk, as his mother was indeed right about the Naras being dangerous enemies to have and being skilled tacticians, given how Shikamaru had figured out his plan. Well, you sure left me feeling like a dope, but even still, Shikamaru, this doesn't change the fact that I've won, as you can't stab my clone without having me stabbing you at the same time, thanks to your Kage main no jutsu making me follow your moves. Hence my clone can move out of the way and attack you, stated a confident Naruto, but immediately frowned when he saw Shikamaru smirk again. I wouldn't be so sure of that, answered Shikamaru, where Naruto suddenly found his right hand lowering. But how? You forget the kunai that's pointing at your clone's neck is in my left hand, while your kunai that's pointed at my head is in your right. During our battle I noticed that you mainly hold your katana, kunais in your right hand and mainly throw your shurikens and kunais with your right hand as well, meaning that you're right-handed, which was why I held my kunai in my left, as I knew I could most likely end up in a situation like this and you would most like hold your kunai or katana in your right hand like the other times. That's why this time I have you for certain and this is indeed checkmate, stated Shikamaru. After hearing this, Naruto could only smile, as he really was impressed with how brilliant Shikamaru really was. Humph, pretty observant of you, you're definitely a sharp one. Asuma sensei was right about you, Shikamaru, as you really do have the ability to be a great shinobi and quat. At this, Shikamaru just nodded. So do you surrender, or do yo? Spoke Shikamaru, but stopped in mid-sentence as he suddenly felt weak, where he could no longer focus his chakra to hold Naruto and he could no longer keep holding his kunai in his hand. As Shikamaru was wondering what was going on with him, he suddenly realized what happened. Poison, he muttered out loud. Like I said, you're a sharp one, Shikamaru, as you're correct, said Naruto as he stood over Shikamaru, who was now on his knees, due to being so weak. With Shikamaru now disabled, Naruto then deactivated his clone, where when he did, Shikamaru suddenly spoke again. But when did you poison me? It couldn't be from the smoke, as you would have been poisoned as well, and even if you were immune to it, you wouldn't have had to use that ruse with disguising yourself and your clone as Ino and Choji. As you could have waited till we all collapsed from the poison. So when did you poison me? Asked Shikamaru. Back when I had cut you with my kunais, after you and Ino took out my first clone, as I coated my kunais with the poison, where it entered your bloodstream when the kunais cut you and spread throughout your body. The poison that I used was a slow-acting one, where it doesn't take effect until it spreads through your entire body, through your bloodstream, where it messes up your chakra control and weakens your body. Normally it takes a few hours to stream through your body, since it's slow to spread, but since we've been fighting for so long, the adrenaline from fighting speeds up the process greatly, explained Naruto. You may have figured out my plan, Shikamaru, and caught me, but it's always best to have a hidden ace in the hole, which is why I won this fight, as I knew it would most likely come down between the two of us, stated Naruto with a smirk. At this Shikamaru could only sigh and mutter troublesome, but even still he smiled a little, as he held no hard feelings to Naruto, as he had outwitted him fair or square. With Shikamaru now disabled, Naruto knew the fight was over, as he had already dealt with Choji and Ino. But before Naruto could go looking for Asuma and tell him the battle was over, he and Shikamaru suddenly heard someone clapping nearby. When they looked around they saw Asuma standing on a thick branch of a tree clapping. Nice going, you two, that was close battle. Asuma-sensei, how long have you been there? Asked Naruto. Long enough, I've been moving from place to place as the battle went on, so that I could get a better view of your battle, and I've to say your fight could have gone either way in quad. At this Naruto only nodded, as he knew that the battle was close, as the main reason he only won was because Shikamaru didn't know what he could do. If he had known what Naruto could do, the battle might have turned out differently, especially if he had to keep holding back like the way he was. With the battle now over, Naruto took out a small bottle full of pills and took out a single pill and gave it to Shikamaru and told him to take it, telling him it was antidote to the poison. When Shikamaru took the pill, Asuma decided to get rid of the remaining cloud of smoke that covered the training area, by using a wind technique to blow the smoke away. When the smoke was blown away, Shikamaru saw the rest of his team lying on the ground unconscious, but relatively unharmed. Once Shimakaru had recovered from the poison, he and Naruto along with Asuma went over to Choji and Ino, where Naruto used some smelling salts to wake them up. Once Choji and Ino were awake, Asuma went on to explain what happened after Naruto knocked them out. When the two heard what happened, Choji was of course naturally impressed with what happened and how Naruto was actually able to outwit Shikamaru and be one step ahead of him, which was something Choji had never seen or heard before. Ino of course cheered loudly, at how her Naruto-kun won, despite the fact that it was her team that lost, where she then jumped forward and hugged Naruto tightly. This then caused Naruto to fall backwards onto the ground on his back with Ino on top of him, who was still hugging him tightly, saying how she knew he would win. At this Choji and Shikamaru could only sigh at the antics of their teammate, where Shikamaru just muttered troublesome women and quat. Asuma of course just smirked, as he found the whole situation rather funny, especially at seeing Naruto trying to get Ino off him, but failing at doing so, since Ino was latched on tightly around Naruto. He was also pleased at how his plan worked, for even though his team had lost, they had all showed good cooperation and teamwork with one another, where they saw how well they could do by working together. After eventually getting Ino off of Naruto, Asuma declared that they would call it a day and that they would go and have barbecue to celebrate how well they all fought today, where he would treat the team. At this Choji cheered at having barbecue. Shikamaru just sighed, as he didn't mind all that much, while Ino squealed a little, since as far as she was concerned this was like a miniature date with her and Naruto, minus the fact that her team would be with them, where she latched onto his arm tightly as they headed for the barbecue. When Ino latched onto his arm, Naruto of course just sighed, as Ino fangirl antics were getting a bit annoying. But even still, they were at least not as bad as Sakura's was, and despite this little annoyance, he was starting to like working with Team 10 and being a part of it. Next day with Team 7 following the events after his mock battle with the members of Team 10, Naruto joined up with Team 7 the next day, where they were doing a mission together. As expected, he did not receive too much of a warm welcome from his former team, with the exception of Kakashi, who greeted him with a wave and his traditional smile. Sasuke pretty much ignored him, as he brooded by himself. Sakura was too busy with trying to talk to Sasuke and asking him out on a date, while Sai just looked at Naruto with his friendly fake smile, which creeped Naruto out and made him all the more suspicious of Sai. After joining up with one another, the team then set out on their first joint mission together. This is Cherry Blossom. I'm in position. This is Artist. I am also in position. This is Hard Fist. No sign of the target. This is Raven. Have sighted the target. Moving in to capture. Roger. Raven move in. Cherry Blossom, you move in from the north to support. Raven received. Copycat and will do. Hard Fist. Artist, you'll move to the south and stay in position there. Should Raven and Cherry Blossom fail and the target escape, where you can then intercept it and capture it. Will do. Copycat confirmed and will do. As Sasuke neared his target, he thought how worthless this mission was, where he would much prefer doing a mission of more worth or at the very least do some serious training, than doing kitty mission like this. After thinking this, he finally sighted his target, which was a brown cat with red ribbon on its right ear. This cat was of course no ordinary cat, as it was the pet cat of the wife of the fire daimyo Madame Shijimi. The cat in question was named Tora, meaning tiger, which was fitting consider the cat was as wild and as dangerous a tiger was, or at least that was according to the other Jinan teams that were set after him before. Finally found you, you mangy furball. Now maybe I can finish this dumb mission and do something more worthwhile, thought Sasuke as he closed in on his target. Sasuke then silently sunk up on and grabbed the cat from behind, where it began to hiss widely and struggle as he tried to free himself from Sasuke's grip. Quiet down, you furball, as there no point in struggling, spoke Sasuke. He tried to get the cat to settle, but as he did, Tora bit down hard on his right hand, with his sharp teeth. This caused Sasuke to yell out in pain and drop Tora as he held his bleeding hand in pain. After seeing that he lost sight of his target, Sasuke quickly made contact with the others on his short band radio. I lost the target, it's heading your way, Sakura. Right, I get him, replied Sakura, where she got ready to catch the target. Sakura of course didn't have to wait long, as she soon saw her target running straight towards her. But when Sakura appeared in front of Tora ready to catch him, Tora quickly jumped up into the air and onto Sakura's face, where he proceeded to claw at Sakura's face, causing the pink-haired girl to scream in pain. After the cat scratched Sakura's face up, it then quickly jumped off Sakura's face and ran in a different direction. After getting over the pain of her face being scratched up by the ribbon-wearing cat, Sakura quickly made contact with the rest of her team. I lost the target and I have no clue as to where he's gone, spoke Sakura over the radio. Received Cherry Blossom, artist, hard fist, try and locate the target and capture him, spoke Kakashi over the radio. Roger, copycat, replied Naruto, where he then turned to Sai. So any ideas on how to get our target? I believe I have one, answered Sai. After separating with Sai, Naruto stayed hidden in the bushes, where he waited for Sai to lure out Tora. Fortunately, Naruto didn't have to wait long as Tora soon appeared chasing after several mice made out of ink. When Naruto saw Tora, he had to admit that the plan was pretty smart, and couldn't help but wonder why they did do this in the first place. As Tora chased after the ink mice, Naruto quickly did 3 sets of hand seals and slammed his hands into the ground, where several pieces of wood sprung up from the ground and formed around Tora and into a small wooden cage. When Tora found himself trapped inside the small wooden cage, the feline naturally tried to claw itself out, but found that the chakra-enhanced wood was too strong and its claws did little to nothing to the cage. Once Naruto saw that Tora was caught, he could not help but smile at his work, as his Makuten skills had improved a lot, thanks to his training with Yamato. Sorry Tora, but you're going back home, now, said Naruto as he walked over to the wooden cage and picked it up, with the hissing and angry cat inside it. Ah, good, so you did catch. It seems my plan worked, spoke Sai, after he jumped down from one of the trees to Naruto's right. Yeah, your plan worked like a charm, replied Naruto. Only thanks to you, Naruto-san, replied Sai with a smile, where Naruto just narrowed his eyes slightly, since he knew Sai's smile was fake. But as he narrowed his eyes, Naruto couldn't help but wonder why Sai was trying to be so nice to him. But before Naruto could think any more on Sai, Kakashi, Sakura and Sasuke quickly appeared in front of them. Nice work you two, spoke Kakashi when he saw Naruto holding the caged Tora, where they then headed back to the mission office and handed in Tora. Tora-chan, cried the fire daimyo's wife when she was handed the struggling cat, where she proceeded to squeeze the life out of the cat. When Naruto saw this, he finally understood why Tora was always running away, as given the circumstances, he would probably do the exact same thing as Tora. As Naruto watched what could be considered animal cruelty, Naruto of course could not help but feel sympathetic for the poor thing. Although not everyone was feeling sorry for Tora's plight, in fact 2 people were gaining sadistic pleasure from the cat's suffering. These 2 were none other than Sasuke and Sakura, who enjoy every minute of seeing the cat that caused them so much pain and trouble, being slowly squeezed to death by the fire daimyo's wife. Ha, serves you right, you miserable hairball, thought Sakura. Cha, that'll teach you from scratching up our face, cried inner Sakura inside Sakura's mind. Once the fire daimyo wife and paid the Hokage, who was sitting at the mission desk, handing out different mission and receiving the money for the mission's completion. Madame Shijimi began to walk out the room with the squirming Tora held rightly against her bosom. But as she was walking by Naruto and Team 7, she noticed a silver ring with a phoenix on Naruto's right middle finger. Upon noticing the ring, she looked more careful at Naruto. Excuse me young man, would you happen to be Senju Naruto, son of Tsunade? Yes I am. It's nice to meet you, Madame Shijimi, said Naruto respectfully, since he didn't know what Madame Shijimi was like and didn't want to get in trouble with her if he sounded disrespectful to her. But as soon as Naruto answered the Madame Shijimi, she let out a large cry, and much to the surprise of everyone in the room, including the Sarutobi, she grabbed Naruto in a one-armed hug, with her right arm. where she then proceeded to nearly squeeze the life out of Naruto, as she smothered him in her chest, all the while still holding Tora in her left arm, who was still struggling to try and get free. "Oh, how wonderfully, I've been dying to meet you for years, as my granddaughter Rurishio speaks of you all the time and how you saved her from that horrid bear. But she never said how handsome you were. I could just eat you up," cooed the large woman, where she continued to squeeze Naruto tighter and tighter, much like she did with Tora. Eventually, after a few more minutes of this, Sarutobi finally decided to intervene on his surrogate grandson's behalf, before the women smothered poor Naruto to death, where he was able to get her to let Naruto go, who after being let go fell to the ground breathing for dear life. Once Naruto regained himself, Sakura suddenly spoke up. Naruto is what, Madam Shijimi? Did you really save the Fire Daimyo's granddaughter?" "Yay, it's true. A while back while I was traveling with my mom, the Fire Daimyo's son became ill and the Fire Daimyo asked for my mom's help. That's when I met Rurishio-chan, where she was staying at the Fire Daimyo's estate outside the capital," said Naruto. "While I was staying there, Rurishio-chan left the estate on her own, where she was attacked by a wild bear that she accidentally ran into. Fortunately, before the bear could hurt her, I arrived, as I went looking for her, when her personal guards told me she was missing. When I found her, she was being attacked by the bear, where I knocked it out and brought her back to the estate, after which we became friends and quad." After hearing Sakura, Sokka and even Sai were surprised, as they had no idea that Naruto was on such friendly terms with the royal family of their country and that he saved the life of the Fire Daimyo's granddaughter. "So how is Rurishio-chan doing, Madam Shijimi?" "Oh, she is fine, and I'm sure she will be overjoyed when she hears that you are here," replied Madam Shijimi. "Also tell me, Naruto-kun, are you in a relationship with anyone?" No, why?" "Oh good, as several good friends of mine in the royal court, who have several daughters, who would be just perfect for you." "Huh?" stated the dumbstruck Naruto when he heard this, but before he could respond to this, the Madam Shijimi spoke again. "Or better yet, how about you and Rurishio, as the two of you together would make the cutest couple?" "Yes, that would be perfect," spoke Madam Shijimi. For the next few minutes the Fire Daimyo's wife continued on with her rabblings on how Naruto and Rurishio would be perfect for one another, since playing matchmaker was a hobby of hers, all the while ignoring the stunned look on Naruto's face, who just stood still with his mouth open, at hearing what Madam Shijimi was suggesting. Naruto was the only one that was surprised at Madam Shijimi's suggestion, as when Sakura heard this, her jaw dropped, as she couldn't believe that the Fire Daimyo's wife was actually trying to arrange a marriage between her granddaughter and Naruto right in front of them. Sasuke, Kakashi and even Sai were also surprised Madam Shijimi's idea, although they were able to mask their surprise much better than Sakura, where the only sign of their surprise was that the three of them had raised eyebrows. "So tell me, Naruto-kun, what do you think of my idea about you and my granddaughter Rurishio?" Well that is, I think that, stuttered a tongue-tied Naruto, as he didn't know what to say to Madam Shijimi's idea. Deciding to intervene again on the youth's behalf and save Naruto from the awkward situation that the daimyo's wife had put Naruto in, the Sandaime coughed loudly, gaining everyone's attention. "Ahem, pardon me Madam Shijimi, but if I may interject, I'm afraid I have important briefing that I need to discuss with young Naruto now." "Oh, but of course I understand," spoke Madam Shijimi, where she then turned back to Naruto. "Well, it was a pleasure talking to you Naruto-kun, and I hope we met again soon." "It was nice talking to you too, Madam Shijimi," replied Naruto respectfully, where he then gave his surrogate grandfather a grateful glance, forgetting him out that situation with Madam Shijimi. At this the daimyo's wife smiled kindly to the young blonde and proceeded to walk out of the room, although before she fully left she quickly stopped and turned around slight. "Also Naruto-kun, please consider my suggestion on you and my granddaughter, as I certain that they too would match up handsomely with one another." I will Madam Shijimi," replied an uncomfortable Naruto, where Madam Shijimi just nodded and then left the room. Upon which Naruto let loose a large sigh of exhaustion, as he hoped his mother never hears about this, as he knew she'd have a major fit over it. Sarutobi on the other hand smiled in amusement and some pity of Naruto's previous situation. "Thanks Gigi, I owe you one anytime Naruto-kun," replied the Sandaime with a smile. "Are you sure you wouldn't want to take up Madam Shijimi up on her offer, Naruto? As being the grandson-in-law to the Fire Daimyo would have its advantages, plus I hear that Rurishio-hime is quite the looker," spoke Kakashi with a slight chuckle as he saw the annoyed Naruto glare at him. Once the excitement from the conversation with the Fire Daimyo's wife died down, the Hokage dismissed Team 7, stating that they were done for the day. But instead of leaving the mission office with the others, Naruto remained in the room with the Sandaime, stating he wanted to talk to the old Hokage about something. Seeing the serious look on Naruto's face, the Hokage dismissed the other shinobis that were working in the mission's office with him, leaving Naruto and the Sandaime alone together. "So Naruto, what is it that you wish to speak to me about?" What can you tell about Sai, the one who replaced me on Team 7 when I left it? Asked Naruto. Upon hearing this, a slight frown appeared on the Sandaime face. Why do you ask this, Naruto? There's just something off about that guy that puts me at odds with him. Plus he seems too skilled to be just another ordinary Genin. Not to mention I can tell there's more to him than he's letting on, as if he's working for someone. Upon hearing this, the Sandaime frowned further before he let a tired sigh. Sigh, very well then. Tell me, Naruto, has either your mother or Jiraiya told you anything about an organization called the Foundation, otherwise known as Root? Asked Sarutobi. No, I never even heard of it. Very few people have, as it was a branch of Onbu that used work outside normal operations and was led by a man named Shimura Danzo, who is one of the 3 shinobi elders of the council and one of my leading advisors. Danzo? Said Naruto in surprise. You've heard of him? Yay, Ka-chan told me he is a very dangerous guy and that I was to keep as far away from him as possible. And she is correct, as Danzo isn't someone you can take lightly. So how does Sai fit in with Danzo and his Root organization? Sai is one of the last members to be trained in Root, before I had the organization disbanded due to their training methods and how it would recruit orphans for the organization and conducted several illegal operations. What kind of training methods did they use that would cause you to have the group disbanded? Asked Naruto. Naruto, has your mother ever told you about the history of Kirigakure, Hidden Mist, or to be more precise, why it was once called the Bloody Mist? Ye Shizune-chan told me about it during a history lesson of the different shinobi villages. She told me that Kiri used to have a special graduation exam, where they would have the class members fight each other to the death. So too, said Naruto until he suddenly realized what the Sandaime was telling him. Wait, are you telling me that this Danzo character used the same kind of graduation test as Kiri used to do? Asked an appalled Naruto, as he found the very idea of forcing classmates and friends to fight or kill each other, just to try and have a better quality of shinobis, ludicrous. Correct, that was one of the main reasons why I had the group disband, as well as because it seemed that Danzo was brainwashing the young Opperhands along with the other members into becoming his loyal followers, replied Sarutobi. As Naruto heard this, as he's starting to like Danzo less and less and was beginning to see why his mother detested him so much. But why is Sai in Team 7, if he was trained to be an elite shinobi under Danzo command? I believe that Sai was placed on Team 7, so that he would have the chance to observe you, Naruto. Me? But why exactly? It's not like I ever met Danzo before or done anything to him. You forget, Naruto, that you've a great deal of influence in Konoha, whether want to admit it or not, as you are the sole heir to the Senju clan, the main founders of this village. You're also your mother's son and as well the descendant of the Shodai and Nidaime Hokage, which can hold a great deal of sway over many people in Konoha. Not to mention you possess the Makuten bloodline of the Shodai, where you could possibly pass it on to any children you may have in the future, and at the same time restore the Senju clan in Konoha. Those reasons by themselves are enough for Danzo to want to keep an eye on you, and one day find a way to gain control of you. So to use you to either help him take my place as Hokage or at the very least, influence you to turn Konoha into the type of place he wants it to be, by having you becoming Hokage, where I'm sure you can guess what it would be like in Quat. At hearing this, Naruto just nodded, but then spoke again. But if you know that Sai is working for Danzo, why did you allow him on Team 7? I'm afraid I had little choice, since Sai was originally supposed to be on Team 7 along with Sasuke and Sakura, but I had him removed when you arrived, although that changed back when I had you moved to be trained with Yamato and Kushina. As Danzo was able to arrange for Sai to take his place back on Team 7, answered the Sandaime. But I thought he only wanted Sai to be on Team 7 because he wanted to observe me, so why did he arrange to have Sai place on Team 7 before people knew I even existed? Asked Naruto, as that part didn't make sense to him. It's because, originally you weren't the target, Sasuke was Sasuke? Was it because of the same reasons he wants me? Asked Naruto, for although he didn't like to admit it, Sasuke and him were a lot alike in many ways. Both were the last heirs of their individual clans, both called prodigies by people, due to their great skills. Both were from the 2 clans that lead to Konoha being formed and both possessed powerful bloodlines. Along with that, they also had several other things in common. I'm not exactly sure, but it is possible, although I'm willing to bet that Sai's orders are to monitor both you and Sasuke now, answered Sarutobi. Although what he wasn't telling Naruto was that he believed the main reason that Sai was ordered to monitor Sasuke was in case he tried to leave or betray the village, in the hopes of gaining a chance to kill his brother Itachi, as Danzo had brought it to the Sandaime's attention on more than one occasion, that Sasuke could one day become a threat to Konoha. But still, why didn't you deny him to be part of the team to begin with? Asked Naruto. Sadly, Naruto, things aren't that easy, as Danzo is quite powerful and has a great deal of influence in Konoha. Not to mention, even if I did deny Sai to be a member of Team 7, Danzo will just find another way to monitor you both. This way allows me to monitor Sai and his actions, while he monitors you and Sasuke, replied Sarutobi. Meaning you're having Kakashi-sensei watch Sai, when he's training or doing missions with Sasuke and Sakura, as well as have Kakashi-sensei along with Kushina-sensei and Yamato-sensei do the same whenever I'm training with Team 7, thereby letting you limit or control what Danzo may learn from Sai, as he monitors me and Sasuke, as well as give you a chance to try and find out what Danzo is doing, since he's obviously up to something, said Naruto. Sarutobi of course could not help but smirk when Naruto figured out what his plan was so quickly, as it showed that Naruto was quite astute for his age. Very good Naruto, I'm very impressed, spoke Sarutobi, before he became serious, but still I want you to be careful around Sai and not let on that you're onto him. Let him monitor you, without revealing anything important about yourself, as Danzo is a dangerous man and I've reason to believe that Root is not truly disbanded, as Danzo may let on and quat. Naruto of course just nodded, understanding, after which he then left the room and headed home, but as he did, he planned that he would also keep a close eye on Sai, as you can never have too many eyes on a person. Chapter 15. Wave. The Hokage office. Several days after the events with the Fire Daimyo's wife, Naruto along with his senseis Kushina and Yamato were called in by the Hokage for a mission. You called for us, Hokage-sama, spoke Yamato after he, Kushina and Naruto entered the room. Yes, I did, thank you all for coming so quickly. So what is it that you need us for, Hokage-sama? Asked Kushina. I called you all here because I've an important mission that I need you for, and quat. At hearing this, Naruto immediately got excited as he was getting pretty tired of all these D-rank missions, and wanted to do something a little more exciting, where he could put the results of his training with Kushina and Yamato to use. Kushina and Yamato of course remained a little more sober, as they knew there was more to this than a simple mission, given how serious the Hokage was. And what exactly is the mission, Hokage-sama? Asked Yamato. The mission involves sending you to Nami no Kuni, Wave Country, and support Kakashi and his team on their mission in helping to protect a bridge builder named Tazuna, answered Sarutobi. At hearing this, Kushina raised her eyebrow in curiosity. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but why are you sending us to support Kakashi and his team on a mission? That is clearly a C-rank mission. Surely Kakashi can handle anything that could happen in a C-rank mission, spoke Kushina. Normally I would agree with you, Kushina, but this is not your ordinary C-rank mission, for you see, it seems that the client Tazuna lied to us when he requested our assistance, replied the old Hokage. How so, Hokage-sama? Asked Yamato. According to the message that Kakashi sent to me, it seems that Tazuna is being targeted by a man named Gato Gato, as in the wealthy shipping magnate and leader of the shipping company, Gato Corporation? Asked Kushina. The very same, although from what recent intelligence has told me, Gato's export and import business is actually a front for smuggling illegal goods and selling drugs. This has resulted in Gato becoming one of the richest men in the world as a result, in quad. At this, Kushina, Yamato and Naruto all nodded their heads in understanding, after which Naruto then spoke up. But how is he involved with this mission, Gigi? Asked Naruto. Well, seemingly, Gato has set up his headquarters in Nami no Kuni, as the country is in a key position for sea trade between Hai no Kuni, Fire Country, and most of the other island nations. He then used his monopoly over shipping to take control of the country's economy, which is allowing him to slowly take control of the country itself. But Tazuna is threatening all this with the bridge that he is building to connect Nami no Kuni to the mainland, which would destroy Gato's monopoly over Nami no Kuni. Hence he has hired a group of nuke nins to eliminate Tazuna, spoke the Sandaime. If that is true, Hokage-sama, why didn't he tell the truth? Where we could have sent a team more suited for the mission than a team of Jinan and their sensei, spoke Yamato. Seemingly from Kakashi's message, Tazuna-san and his people have spent most of their remaining money on the equipment and materials needed to build the bridge, and did not have much left to request a higher rank mission, hence why he lied when he requested our help. So what did Kakashi go against on the mission, to make him call for backup? Asked Kushina, as she knew Kakashi was no pushover and it would have to be something dangerous for him to need help. Well, it seems that when Kakashi and his team were traveling to Nami no Kuni, they were ambushed by the Oni Kyodai, Demon Brothers, Gozu and Maizu. Kakashi and his team easily dispatched them and left them to be arrested by our forces, after sending word of what happened, upon which he and his team then continue on with the mission. But after they landed on Nami no Kuni, they encountered Momochi Zabuza, the famed Kirigakura no Kijin, demon of the hidden mist, and quat. Upon hearing this, the eyes of Yamato, Kushina suddenly widen, as they had both heard of the infamous nuke nin of Kiri. Even Naruto had heard of the former member of the Kiri no Shinobi Gatana Shichinin Shu, the 7 shinobi swordsman of the mist, who had led a failed revolt against the Yondaime Mizukage and was forced to flee afterwards. Naruto only knew about him since his mother had made certain that he knew all the high-ranked nuke nins in the bingo books on the chance that he encountered one. The demon of the hidden mist. No wondered Kakashi called for backup, muttered Kushina to herself. You need not worry about Zabuza, as Kakashi reported that he defeated him, thanks to the help of his team, after which Zabuza was killed by a hunter nin who had been tracking Zabuza, spoke Sarutobi. This of course surprised the three shinobi, especially Naruto, since he knew that the only way that Sasuke and the others could have helped Kakashi in any way, would be if they worked together. This of course was surprising, since he didn't think Sasuke would work with his teammates, let alone that they all could work together to begin with. But if Zabuza is dead, why do we need to support Kakashi team? Asked Naruto. Although Zabuza is dead, we don't know for certain that he and the demon brothers were the only ones that Gato hired to take out Tazuna. This is why I sending you all to support him in Team 7, since after his battle, Kakashi was left gravely weakened, and even with Zabuza dealt with, who was most likely the greatest threat, Kakashi will be in no shape to defend Tazuna for a while, answered the Sandaime. At this the three shinobis nodded again in understanding, although Yamato suddenly spoke up again. If I may, Hokage-sama, why are you sending us on this mission, as surely this would be something for a more senior team? Asked Yamato. Normally I would do so, but unfortunately our forces are spread rather thin, where if I were to send a more senior team, it would weaken our defensives, which is why I'm sending you three. I have no doubt that whatever happens on this mission you and Kushina can handle it with Kakashi's help. While Naruto, as you both known, is already a skilled shinobi who can hold his own in most situations, not to mention he is also skilled in medical ninjutsu, thanks to his mother's training, where he can help Kakashi recover more quickly. Also Naruto already has some experience in combat, thanks to the incident in Oni no Kuni, Demon Country, so I've no doubt he will be of help, whatever happens in Quad. After hearing this Yamato only nodded, upon which Kushina and Naruto left the room to pack for their mission, where 2 hours later they left the village and headed for Nami no Kuni. 3 days later, near Tazuna home, after 3 days of traveling from Konoha to Nami no Kuni, Naruto and his senseis arrived at Nami no Kuni, where they entered the nearby village. When they arrived at the village, they found it in an appalling state, where most of the people were in tattered ragged clothes, with sorrowful looks on their faces, as if their spirits had been broken. The children were even in worse shape than the adults, as they were all skinny and dirty with tattered clothes and just sitting on the ground, with blank looks on their faces. When Naruto saw this, he could not help but become angry at seeing all this, as he knew that Gato was responsible for all these people suffering. Soon enough though they found a person who directed them to where Tazuna home was. When they arrived at the gate they all sensed a familiar presence nearby watching them, but before any of them could call to the person to come out, the person in question jumped out in front of them from a nearby tree. When the person appeared in front of them, Naruto and his two senseis saw that the person that had been watching them was Sai, who had been keeping guard of the house in case of any sneak attack. Greetings, so you're the ones who the Hokage has sent to assist us, spoke Sai. Correct, could you please bring us to Kakashi-senpai, spoke Yamato, where Sai just nodded and led them into the house. When Yamato, Kushina and Naruto followed Sai into the house, they saw a young woman in a small kitchen cooking what most likely was evening dinner for the group. They then saw an old man, who was most likely the bridge builder Tazuna, sitting at a table drinking sake. While sitting in the far corner was Sasuke with his eyes closed, only to open them when Naruto and his senseis entered the house. When Naruto and his group arrived, the young woman in the kitchen quickly turned around and smiled. Oh, new arrivals, are these the people that Kakashi-san said would arrive to help? Indeed we are, replied Yamato. At hearing this, the woman's smile grew. Then you've our gratitude. My name is Tsunami. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Yamato. This is my partner Uzumaki Kushina and this is our student Senju Naruto. It is very nice to meet you all. Please make yourselves at home. I will prepare some more things for dinner, spoke Tsunami. That is very kind of you. Thank you, spoke Kushina respectfully. Humph, another brat. But at least this time they sent some people that might actually be of some help to us, spoke the slightly drunk bridge builder. At hearing Tazuna calling him brat, Naruto scowled. I suggest you be more grateful, you old fart, as it was brats like me that helped save your Sarius earlier. Retorted Naruto, remembering the Hokage report of what happened with Kakashi and his team. When Sasuke heard this, he could not help but smirk at Naruto putting the old drunk in his place, as he had received such similar remark from Tazuna when he and his team first met him. At hearing this, Tazuna scowled at Naruto's remark, but before he could retort back, Naruto continued. Besides that, you should also be grateful that our village even sent us to help you, as our Hokage could have easily just called Kakashi-sensei and his team back, like most shinobi villages would. Especially after you lied to our village about the dangers of the mission and put Kakashi-sensei and his team in danger and nearly got them killed. Tsunade was of course taken back by Naruto's response, and as much as he hated to admit it, Naruto had a point and was indeed correct, as he nearly did get Kakashi and his team killed, because he held back information from them and lied to them. But even still, he was a stubborn old man and wouldn't back down an argument, especially to someone Naruto's age. Thankfully though, before an argument could break out between them, Tsunade placed her hand gentle on her father's shoulder, stopping her father from making the argument go any further. Yamato also did the same, by placing his hand on Naruto's shoulder, calming the hot-headed young blonde from fighting with Tsunade anymore. "Please forgive my father, he gets rather moody when he is drunk," spoke Tsunade, as she apologized for her father's remark. "Of course, and allow me to apologize for my student, as he can be rather hot-headed at times," replied Yamato. Tsunade of course nodded, after which Kushina asked where Kakashi was, where Tsunade pointed to the room next to them, indicating that Kakashi was in there. When they entered the room, the team found Kakashi lying flat on his back, with a blanket over him and Sakura sitting next to him, making sure that he was okay. When Kakashi heard the door to his room opening, he lifted his head up slightly to look up to see who was entering the room. When he saw that it was Yamato, Kushina, and Naruto, along with Sasuke and Sai, who had followed Naruto and his senseis, he greeted them and gave them his tradition one-eyed eye smiles, while keeping his Sharingan eye closed. After entering the room, Naruto then began to do his checkup on Kakashi to see the extent of his injuries, which were remarkably minor, much to Naruto's surprise, as he expected a great deal more damage from Kakashi, after he fought and defeated the infamous demon of the hidden mist. "Well, Kakashi-sensei, your injuries aren't as bad as I thought they would be and I healed them all, but your main problem is that you're suffering from chakra exhaustion, most likely from using your Sharingan for a prolonged period, correct?" stated Naruto, as Jiraiya had told him a while back, that due to the fact that he wasn't an Uchiha and didn't possess the Sharingan naturally, Kakashi couldn't turn off his Sharingan, nor could he use it for long periods as it drained too much of his chakra. Kakashi of course just nodded, as what Naruto said was correct. "Well, I'm afraid there is little I can do there, as it's best to let your body rest and recovery by itself, so as long as you don't do anything too strenuous and keep resting, you should recover in a couple of days' time," stated Naruto, where Kakashi just nodded again. Once Naruto had finished his checkup on Kakashi, Kushina then spoke up, "So Kakashi, why don't you tell what happened in detail with you and Zabuza?" Kakashi of course complied with his former senior Anbu captain question and began to describe in detail what happened between him and Zabuza. Throughout the explanation, Kakashi told them how he had fought Zabuza and was tricked and trapped by him in a Suro no Jutsu, water prison technique, where he only to escape, thanks to Sai and Sasuke working together to free him. Kakashi, where Sai used his Choju Giga, Super Beast's imitation picture, to create several ink birds, which distracted Zabuza, allowing Sasuke to fire a barrage of shurikens and kunai at Zabuza, forcing him to move and freeing Kakashi, who re-engaged Zabuza and defeated him. But before Kakashi could finish him off, a hunter nin arrived and stabbed Zabuza in the neck with some senbone needles. "Using senbone needles? That's an unusual choice of weapon for a hunter nin," commented Kushina. At hearing this, Naruto began to frown, as something didn't settle with him. Kakashi-sensei, do you know where exactly the hunter nins hit Zabuza with the senbone needles in his neck?" Kakashi nodded, where he then indicated on his neck with his hand, where exactly the senbone needles hit Zabuza. When Kakashi showed Naruto where Zabuza was hit in the neck with the needles, he frowned, as Kakashi confirmed what he feared. "Zabuza isn't dead," spoke Naruto suddenly, gaining everyone's attention. "What do you mean, Senju? Of course Zabuza dead, we saw it with our own eyes," spoke Sasuke. "What you saw was what Zabuza wanted you to think," replied Naruto. "What do you mean by that?" asked Sakura, not getting what Naruto meant. "It's simple, like Kushina-sensei said, senbone needles are an unusual choice of weapon for a hunter nin to use, but they're a perfect weapon for a medic nin like me, especially if you want to do something to someone's body without doing any serious harm." From the points that Kakashi-sensei indicated, Zabuza was put in a near-death state by the hunter nin, where Zabuza's heart rate was slowed down to a point where it can be barely felt, even if you check for it in quad. When Kakashi heard this, he felt like he could slap himself, where he would have if he could, as he couldn't believe he had forgotten that or hadn't noticed it earlier. "Kakashi-sensei, is what Naruto saying true? Is Zabuza really alive?" asked Sakura with some worry, at the idea of Zabuza still being alive. "I'm afraid so, Sakura, as what Naruto said is indeed true, not to mention another fact that I didn't notice earlier, where the hunter nin did not cut Zabuza's head off when he killed him, as a hunter nin is to decapitate his or her target on the spot and then destroy the body, so that there is no chance of enemies learning any secrets of the village from the body, while the head is used to prove that the target has been eliminated," spoke Kakashi, cursing himself for not seeing it sooner. It seems that you're losing your touch, Kakashi spoke Kushina. You might be right, Kushina-senpai, replied Kakashi with a sigh. Clearly the hunter nin was in league with Zabuza, where he watched your battle in case Zabuza lost, so that he would intervene and save Zabuza before you could kill him, and you would believe that he is dead, giving Zabuza the chance to attack you when your guard is down, spoke Yamato, where he had to admit it was a clever ploy, which could fool most people. Naruto himself also had to admit that the fake hunter nin was also very skilled, maybe as skilled if not more skilled than him, as it would take keen knowledge on the human anatomy. Not to mention to be highly skilled in senbone needles, to precisely hit the small points on Zabuza's neck with just the right amount of force and put him in the near-death state, while at the same time, doing it all without killing or permanently paralyzing Zabuza. Well, there is a bit of good news, spoke Naruto, gaining everyone's attention again. Which would be? Asked Sai. Well, Zabuza won't be able to make any kind of attack on us for a little while, as the side effects of putting someone in the near-death-like state is that the person will be unable to fully move their body for some time, answered Naruto. How much time would we have exactly? Asked Yamato. Well, given the injuries he suffered after fighting Kakashi-sensei, along with being put in the death-like state, I would say just over 2 weeks, but if the hunter nin is as a skilled medic as I think he is, given how he saved Zabuza, I would cut that recovery time in half, and given the time that has already passed, we only got a couple of days in quad. After hearing this, Kakashi, Yamato and Kushina frowned, as that didn't give them much time to plan what to do. Sakura, of course, began to worry, while Sai remained emotionless and Sasuke actually looked eager at the idea of going against Zabuza again. Well, it seems that we have quite the situation here, and if we want to survive it, we're going to have to make you guys even stronger, spoke Kushina, as she looked at the members of Team 7. At hearing this, Sasuke actually looked even more eager than before, especially at the idea of becoming stronger. Very well then, we'll start training tomorrow, spoke Yamato, after which the Konoha group began to talk over what they would do tomorrow, right up until they were called by Tsunade for dinner. The next morning in a small clearing in the woods of Nami no Kuni, the members of Team 7 along with Kushina, Naruto and Yamato prepared to do some training. When they were planning on what to train Team 7 in last night, Naruto and his senseis learned that Kakashi had yet to teach Sasuke and the others tree climbing. This of course surprised Yamato, as tree climbing should have been taught in the second week of taking in a team, or at the very least before the team took on a C-rank mission. Kushina of course rebuked Kakashi for not teaching his students something so basic and important sooner. Kakashi of course tried to explain that he had been busy training to get his team to work together. Normally such excuses would not work, but when considering how badly the members of Team 7 were getting along with one another and how until only a few days ago, couldn't work together, Yamato and Kushina could understand where Kakashi was coming from. But even still, Kushina did reprimanded Kakashi for not teaching his team simple tree climbing, before they took this mission. Kakashi himself was back at Tazuna home, where Tsunade made sure he did nothing too strenuous so that he could rest and recover more quickly. Normally this would be no problem for Kakashi, as he would use such time to read one of his Icha books. But sadly, when Naruto was doing his checkup on Kakashi, he took the book from Kakashi, stating that he needed to focus more on recovering than on reading his book. Although Naruto also stated that he was taking Kakashi's book as punishment for not training his students in tree climbing before they took the mission. Well now, since we're all here and we know what we're going to do for the next few days, I believe we should give a demonstration of how exactly tree climbing is done. Naruto, would you care to show them how it's done? Spoke Kushina, as she then turned to Naruto. Naruto of course nodded, where he started to channel his chakra to his feet, while explaining it all to Sasuke and the others. Once he had finished explaining to the others on what to do, he then simply walked up the tree and up to a large thick branch on a high part of the tree. Seeing this, both Sasuke and Sakura looked surprised at this, as neither of them had seen anything like what Naruto was doing before. Sai on the other hand remained as emotionless and as blank as always, not showing the slightest sign of surprise. After Naruto had shown them what to do, he quickly jumped down to the ground, upon which Kushina then told the 3 other Genin to attempt it as well. The 3 Genin of course nodded, and where they each took their own individual trees and channeled their chakra to their feet and attempted to walk up the tree. Sakura was able to walk up the tree she had chosen on the first attempt with no difficulty, which was of course no surprise to Kushina, Yamato, as they had read Sakura's academy report, where it showed that much like Naruto, she had flawless control over her chakra. Sasuke on the other hand was having difficulty climbing the tree, where each time after only taking a few steps, he would fall to the ground, whether it was from streaming too much or too little chakra to his feet, to keep himself on the tree. Sai also seemingly had the same problem as Sasuke, where he kept adding too much chakra to too little, although Naruto believed he was doing it on purpose, so to stay close to Sasuke and keep an eye on him. Naruto guessed this, since he highly doubted that Danzo wouldn't have already trained Sai to do the tree climbing exercise. Yamato and Kushina were of course of similar minds as Naruto, as they had heard from the Sandaime that Sai was a spy belonging to Danzo. Seeing that Sakura could already do the tree climbing practice, Kushina decided that she would send Naruto and Sakura to guard Tazuna, while he and his men built the bridge. Both genins of course nodded, as having no problem in doing what Kushina asked them to, where they left together for the bridge. Soon after, Yamato left to head back and guard Tazuna's family, in case Gato's men tried to kidnap them and force Tazuna to submit, while leaving Kushina to watch over Sasuke and Sai. Next day at Tazuna home after another day, the members of Team 7 along Naruto and his senseis were sitting down around the small table in the living room with Tazuna family, eating dinner. Also among the group was Kakashi, who was now well enough to move around a little, and Inari, Tazuna's grandson, who mainly kept to himself. Naruto and Sakura had spent much of the day guarding Tazuna and his workers as they worked on the bridge. Naruto even helped a bit where he created clones to help the workers build the bridge. Yamato had also kept guard over Tsunade and Inari as well as Kakashi, while he was recovering. Kushina also kept watched over Sai and Sasuke as they trained in the tree climbing practice, where Sasuke was making good and steady progress, where he had already gotten halfway up the tree before falling. Sai was also at the same level, but Kushina guessed he was only doing that so that he could keep an eye on Sasuke for as long as possible. Throughout the past few days Inari had kept his distance from Naruto and all the others. Naruto, Sakura as well as Kushina had each tried to befriend or talk to the young boy, but each time any of them tired, he would yell at them to go away and would then run away crying. When they asked what was wrong with Inari, Tazuna went on to explain the sad story involving Inari's stepfather Keiza, who had tried to stand up to Gato and his goons, but was beaten and executed in front of everyone by Gato's men. As they all ate dinner together, Sakura decided to try and start a conversation and ask Kushina how Sasuke and Sai were doing in their training. Kushina of course answered saying that they were both making progress, but neither of them had reached the top. As Sakura and Kushina continued to talk, Inari suddenly spoke out. "Why are all even bothering? You're all going to die anyway, none of you can beat Gato, he's too strong." After hearing this, Sasuke frowned at Inari's little rant and was about to retort, about how a weakling like him wouldn't know anything about them. But before he could, Naruto suddenly spoke up. "Don't act like you know anything about us, brat, as we're a lot stronger than you think we are and we've no intention of dying to scum like Gato," replied Naruto. "No, you're wrong. You're all going to die, as you've no idea what's it's like for us here. No one can beat Gato," cried the young boy. At this Naruto just frowned further, at hearing how Inari telling them all, that it was useless and that they were all going to die. Naruto of course despised people like Inari who gave up on something without even trying and let bullies like Gato walk all over them and others. "You're right, I don't know what's it like to live under Gato's rule, but I sure as hell know that your stepfather Keiza is probably turning over in his grave as we speak, at seeing how much of a whining crybaby and coward you've become. Your grandfather is risking his life right now trying to build this bridge, all because he wants to save this country and give you a better life, while you're just sitting there crying, telling everyone it's hopeless and that they should give up without even trying yourself," retorted Naruto harshly. When Naruto said this, Inari quickly broke into tears and then ran off the next room, where Naruto just scoffed, after which he stood up from the table and began to walk out the front door. "Naruto," spoke out Yamato, when he saw his student getting up from the table, as he was about to rebuke Naruto for losing his temper with Inari. But when he spoke out to him, Naruto ignored Yamato and continued to walk out of the house. "Naruto, where are you going?" asked Yamato, where Naruto simple replied out before shutting the door behind him. Yamato was of course going to follow after him, but was stopped by Kushina, who placed her hand on his shoulder. "Easily there, Yamato, leave him be, he come back when he cools off a bit and quat." Yamato of course just nodded, knowing that Kushina was right, after which he turned to Tsunade. "Please accept my apologies for my student's outburst towards your son, as he can be rather hot-headed at times and quat." Tsunade of course nodded in acceptance. "It is alright, Yamato-san, as Inari can be rather difficult at times, ever since my husband's death, as it had an awful effect on him. But even still that did not excuse him for what he said, so I hope you can accept my apologies as well," and quat. Yamato naturally accepted Tsunade's apology, although was still planning to have a talk to Naruto about controlling his temper better. Deciding to change the subject a bit, Tazuna decided to ask Yamato something that he had been wondering for a while. "If you don't mind me asking, but I've been wondering, why is it that Kid has you two as his senseis? Why isn't he on a team like this group?" asked Tazuna as he indicated towards Kakashi and Team 7. "Naruto is a special case, where due to certain abilities he has, Kushina-senpai and I were assigned to help train in him. Although another reason why we were assigned to train him, was also to help protect him as well," answered Yamato. "Protect him? But why?" asked Tsunade. You see, Naruto is the heir to the Senju clan, who were the main founders of our village and were said to be the strongest shinobi clan in the world. Naruto is also the descendant of both our Shodaime Hokage and Nidaime Hokage, who led the building of Konoha. Not only that, but Naruto is also the son of Senju Tsunade, the Slug Princess, credited of being the greatest medic and strongest kunoichi in the world, and is a member of the Densetsu no Sannin, the 3 legendary ninjas. The 3 strongest shinobis that our village has ever produced, spoke Kushina. So the kid is basically like royalty in your village, since he's the descendant of your village's first 2 leaders and is the heir to the clan that founded your village, replied Tazuna. One could look at it that way, but the reason as to us protecting him isn't for what you may think. For you see, as I said, Naruto has certain unique abilities that make him a special case, ones that if certain people found out that he had them, they would hunt him down relentlessly. Also, being the heir of the Senju clan and the descendant of both the Shodaime and the Nidaime Hokages, along with being the son Tsunade, puts a very large target on Naruto's head, once the rest of the world learns of him. For many groups and rival villages would target Naruto, either due to grudges they may have against Naruto's mother or his clan, or because of the potential threat he represents to them once he is older, stated Yamato before he continued. It's because of these reasons that Naruto had to start training to be a shinobi at a very young age, so that he would have a chance of surviving later on in his life, when those who would target him come after him. Also, it because of these threats that Naruto had to grow up constantly on the move with his mother, so that no one could discover him. This also resulted in Naruto growing up with very few friends. Also, when he was 7, Naruto had to kill an enemy shinobi in self-defense, when the shinobi attacked Naruto and a young girl that he was defending in Quat. Naturally, after hearing the last part about Naruto, everyone in the room gasped in surprise, minus Kushina and Kakashi, who already knew about that event. You mean that kid actually had to kill a person when he was just 7? Asked Tazuna, as surprised as he found it hard to believe. Yes, although it was unintentionally, I can assure you, replied Yamato. I guess the kid has it harder than I thought, muttered Tazuna, as he felt kind of bad for Naruto. Tazuna, of course, was not the only one, as Sakura felt equally as bad, as she doubted she could have dealt with the fact that she had killed a person if she had been in Naruto's shoes. Even Sasuke felt somewhat sympathetic towards what happened to Naruto when he was 7. Indeed, which is why I believe that Naruto acted so harshly towards your grandson. As to Naruto, giving up without even trying to defend the people you care about, goes against everything he'd been raised to believe in, spoke Yamato. As everyone in the living room thought over what they had heard, Inari, who had been silently listening to the conversation, also mulled over what he had heard, where he could not help but remember what his stepfather Keiza told him: if something is truly important to you, even it's heartbreaking, even if it's sorrowful, you keep on trying and trying, even if you lose your life, you keep on protecting it with these 2 arms. Then, even if you die, you leave behind the proof that you are a man. Forever. To-chan, what do I do? What would you do? Thought Inari sorrowfully, as a tear fell down his already tear-stained face. Next morning in Zabuza's hideout, currently sitting beside Zabuza's bedside, as he recovered from his battle with Kakashi, was Zabuza apprentice Haku, who had been treating Zabuza's wounds for the past few days. Haku had also been protecting him as well from Gato, who had appeared yesterday with his two wannabe samurai goons Zori and Waraji. When Gato tried to touch Zabuza, when he was in his weakened state, Haku had broken his arm and then quickly subdued Zori and Waraji. When he left, Gato had stated that Haku would pay for breaking his arm. As Zabuza lay on his bed, Haku saw the light of the early morning sun shine through the window. Seeing that Zabuza was still sleeping and due to the early hour, where no one would be up, Haku decided to get more herbs to treat Zabuza's injuries. Quickly changing into a pink sleeveless, low-cut kimono, with pale red edges and decorated with small plum-colored swirls, Haku began to silently walk out of the room. But before Haku could leave, a now awake Zabuza suddenly spoke up. "Where are you going, Haku?" After hearing Zabuza's voice, Haku quickly spun around. "Forgive me for waking you, Zabuza-sama, it wasn't my intent to wake you, I was only going out to gather herbs to help treat your injuries." "Humph, fine, just don't be too long," replied Zabuza, before he closed his eyes again, when Haku nodded and left the room. After an hour and a half, Haku had gathered all the necessary herbs that would be needed to help heal Zabuza, but just before Haku could start heading back, the young Hyotan, ice release, user noticed several trees that had been seemingly cut down. Deciding to investigate further, Haku walked up to where the cut trees were, upon which Haku then came upon a large clearing, where there were several more trees that had been cut down, by seemingly a single cutting slash. After studying under a former member of the Kiri no Shinobi Gatana Shichinin Shu, Haku of course knew a little about swordsmanship. Hence Haku knew that whoever did it had some skill to be able to cut down a large tree with a single slash. Looking more around the clearing, Haku noticed that there were several large dents on the ground, as if being punched by someone or thing. Haku also noticed that there were several large dried patches of grass and flowers, where they all seemed to be brown and shriveled up, as if all the moisture had been drained from them. It was after seeing this that Haku noticed that there was a person lying on the ground among a large patch of flowers in the clearing. As Haku looked closer, it almost seemed like the flowers were thriving around him, as if the flowers were growing stronger from being next to him. Once Haku came up to the person, Haku saw that the person in question was a young blonde-haired boy, holding a long katana in his hand, as well as wearing a black sleeveless vest with a green sleeveless zip-up top over it. He also wore green pants and black boots with green elbow pads and green fingerless gloves with bead-like bracelets on both his wrists. But what caught Haku's attention the most was the Konoha headband that was wrapped around the boy's head. A Konoha shinobi, but not one of the group that Zabuza-sama met when he fought Hatake Kakashi. Did they call for reinforcements? If so, why did they send a young boy, as he looks no older than the Jinan from Kakashi's team? He must be with another team, and if so there must be others, thought Haku with concern, as Kakashi was a dangerous enough opponent to face against. I must eliminate him here and now, as given the state of this area he clearly has some skill and could be a danger to our mission, thought Haku further, and drew out a set of senbon needles. But before Haku could make even an attempt on Naruto, the young Hyotan user heard a groan coming from Naruto, where his eyes began to slowly open. Seeing this, Haku quickly put away the senbon needles before Naruto fully woke up. As Naruto was waking up, Haku spoke, "Are you alright?" "Huh?" spoke Naruto as he fully woke up, where he looked straight up at Haku. "Sorry, did you say something?" asked Naruto, as he rubbed the sleep out of his eye. "I said, are you alright? I saw you lying on the ground and I didn't know what was wrong with you," spoke Haku. "Oh sorry, I guess I must have fallen asleep when I took a break from training last night," replied Naruto, who was a little embarrassed. "You should be more careful, as if you sleep on the ground outside you'll catch a cold or get sick," warned Haku. "Nah, I be alright, I've never gotten sick in a day in my life," said Naruto, which was true, as it helped to have the world's greatest medic as your mother, to keep you from getting sick. At this Haku just nodded and stood up. When Haku stood up, he noticed the basket full of herbs next to Haku. "Oh, are you collecting healing herbs?" and quat. Slightly surprised at Naruto knowing that the herbs were for healing, Haku just nodded at first before speaking. Yes I am. A friend of mine had an accident and I was collecting some herbs to help heal him," answered Haku with a half lie. Hearing this, Naruto just nodded, where he continued to look through the basket full of herbs. "You seem to have a good collection of herbs needed to heal injuries. Although there is one that you're missing that would be quite useful. What would that be?" asked Haku, generally curious. "Here I show you, it's not a hard plant to find," spoke Naruto, where he led Haku to some trees and began looking for the plant. As they looked for the plant, Haku and Naruto got to talking. As the two talked, Haku asked Naruto a question. "Tell me, Naruto-san, how is it that you know so much about herbs for healing and medicine?" "Well, my mom is a medic, who taught me a lot about medical techniques, and my Nei-chan taught me about herbs and how they were used for different types of injuries." Haku of course nodded in understanding, as it made sense, where the young Hyotan user also found it interesting. Soon enough though, Naruto found the herb that he was looking for and showed it to Haku. The plant itself was a small weed-like plant, with small white flowers top. "This is milfoil. It's an excellent herb for treating wounds and injuries. It's also a good digestive aid, for treating menstrual cramps, and is a mild sedative," spoke Naruto, after which he explained how to make it into medicine correctly. After showing Haku the plant, Naruto helped the young ice user to gather more of the weeds and place them in the basket. As they gathered the weeds, Naruto could not help but notice that despite her age, Haku was a very beautiful young girl. By just looking at her, Naruto knew she was maybe only a year or two older than him. Yet she was already extremely beautiful, showing that in a couple of years' time, when she has grown into full adulthood, the girl would most likely be a major knockout on the level or Kurenai or his mother. Naruto of course quickly got out of his staring when he heard Haku suddenly speaking to him. "Tell me, Naruto-san, do you have anyone precious to you, someone you would want to protect?" At this question, Naruto thought for a moment before answering. Yeah, I do. I have my Ka-chan, my Nei-chan, our pet pig Tonton, my Gigi, even my perverted godfather Uro-senin and quat." At this Haku smiled a little, as it was clear at the way Naruto spoke about them that he cared for them all deeply. "Why do you ask?" "Well, I believe that when a person has something important they want to protect, that's when they can become truly strong," replied Haku, where Naruto could not help agree. Soon enough, Haku had gathered enough of the milfoil and decided to head back to Zabuza. "I think I have enough now. Thank you for your help, Naruto-san. It was nice talking to you," spoke Haku. "It was nice talking to you to Haku-chan. I hope your friend gets better soon," said Naruto, where he then shook hands with Haku. Haku of course just nodded and then started to walk back towards Zabuza's hideout. As Naruto watched his new friend walk away, He soon saw Haku stop and turn around slightly. "Oh, and Naruto-san, I think you should know I'm a boy," after which Haku continued on towards Zabuza's hideout, leaving a stunned Naruto behind. Shiehi. "I was actually attracted to a guy," cried Naruto in horror as his face turned deathly white when he realized this. "Ah, I can't believe I was actually attracted to a boy? But he looked like a girl and even sounded like one. He must be one of those pretty boys Shizune-chan told me about, but I thought they were only a myth," ranted Naruto in his mind, as he felt like he wanted to have a shower. Not that he had anything against guys who like guys, it was just that he was straight. Sai or Sasuke might be those type of guys considering how they showed no interest in girls, but wasn't certain, as considering the types of girls that were around them. But still Naruto could not help but be weirded out by what Haku said. He was also slightly grateful that his godfather wasn't around, as knowing Jiraiya he teased Naruto to the end of days about it. Although then again, if Jiraiya really thought Naruto went for guys, he probably beat Naruto until he went straight, as he was certain that Jiraiya would not stand for a godson that went to the other side. At the same time, when Naruto was coming to terms to what Haku had said to him, the young ice user in question was walking slowly back to the hideout with a solemn look. "I would prefer if you and I were to not meet again, Naruto-san. For the next time we meet, I fear we'll meet as enemies, something I would greatly dislike, as I would not want to fight someone like you, but I fear it is inevitable and only one of us will most likely walk away." The next day in Tazuna House, currently sitting around the living room table. After eating dinner, the 7 Konoha shinobis planned out what they were going to do next, since they knew that Zabuza would most likely recover in the next few days and attack. "So what exactly should we do?" asked Kakashi. "Well, we can't just wait for him to attack whenever he wants," replied Kushina. "Why not, since he doesn't know about you or Yamato-sensei? We're together, the two of you along with Kakashi-sensei could beat him," spoke Sakura. "We can't be certain that Zabuza doesn't already known about us, as Gato could have people watching us, where he could have then told Zabuza about us," said Kushina. "But we don't know that," replied Sakura. "True, but it's always best to assume the worst situation, so that we can prepare for it," answered Yamato. "But even if he does know about you three, it would still be all of us against him and his partner," spoke Sasuke. "You're right about that, but even still you four are all just Shinon, and although you're all pretty skilled, you're still no match for someone like Zabuza, as any one of us would have trouble with him. Beside, we don't even know if Zabuza doesn't have more subordinates or partners with him. Not to mention as well, Zabuza is a master in using Sirento Kurang, soundless murder technique, in conjunction with Kirigakura no Jutsu, art of hiding in the mist, where he wouldn't have much difficulty using that to fight against all of us, which would put us at a disadvantage," spoke Kushina. "So what should we do, sensei?" asked Naruto. "I think we should strike first at Zabuza, before he can recover, while at the same time take out Gato, since Zabuza would most likely be hidden somewhere near where Gato is," answered Kushina. "But how do we even do that, as we don't know where they are?" asked Sai. "Kakashi, can't we use your dog summons to track Zabuza, as I remember you saying that you found a piece of cloth that belonged to Zabuza, after you defeated him," spoke Kushina. "I suppose that you could do that, but I do not think we should all go, as some of us should stay here in case Tazuna or his family is attacked by Gato or his men." "Agreed. I believe Kushina and I would be enough, while the rest of you stay and protect Tazuna and his family," replied Yamato. The rest of the group of course agreed with the plan, believing it was the best thing to do, as it would be the best way to protect Tazuna and his family without endangering any of them. Hence it was decided that Kushina and Yamato would go and track down Zabuza tomorrow with Kakashi's dog summon Pakun. At Zabuza's hideout, currently sitting up on his bed, the nearly recovered Zabuza was eating an apple, while Haku finished checking him to see if he'd fully recovered. "It seems that you've just about regained your strength, Zabuza-sama," spoke Haku. "Yes, and tomorrow we will strike at Kakashi and the bridge builder and kill them," spoke Zabuza. "But what about the possible other team that I mentioned to you?" asked Haku. "Given how the boy you met was just a Jonin, it just means we be dealing with another team of Genins and their Jonin sensei, which won't be too much trouble for us, as we'll crush them," spoke Zabuza as he crushed the apple in his hands. "Next day at the bridge, hold on, what the heck is going on here? What happened?" spoke Tazuna in surprise, as he saw his workers, all on the ground, hurt and unable to move, as they groaned in pain from their injuries. "Someone was here, someone got to them. Could it be?" thought Kakashi, as he saw the injured men, but just as he was thinking of this, a thick mist began to roll in. "This mist," thought Kakashi, before he quickly cried out to his students, where they took up a defensive stance around Tazuna. So Naruto was right, he was alive. I guess he couldn't wait till round 2, but why did he have to attack now of all times, when Yamato and Kushina were away, thought Kakashi, as he kept his senses on alert. "It's Zabuza, isn't sensei?" "Naruto was right about him still being alive," spoke Sakura. So you knew I was alive. Sorry to keep you waiting, Kakashi spoke Zabuza as he stayed hidden in the mist. I see that you still have those brats around you. It looks like that one is still trembling. Pitiful. It was after saying this that several Zabuzas suddenly appeared surrounding the group. Upon seeing this, Sasuke just smirked, which surprised Zabuza, trembling with excitement and quat. After hearing this, Zabuza just smirked, amused at what Sasuke had said. Go ahead, Sasuke, Sai said Kakashi, knowing that his two students could handle this. Acknowledging the go-ahead from Kakashi, both Sai and Sasuke attacked. The Tsunade charged forward with impressive speed, where within the space of only a few seconds, the Tsunade easily dispatched the Zabuzas that surrounded them, where they all reverted into clones. Not bad, it seems the brats are improving, and it seems that you've some rivals in speed, Haku spoke Zabuza, as he and Haku appeared in front of Team 7. So it seems, spoke Haku without an emotion. Well, so Naruto had it right, it was all an act, spoke Kakashi. An act? Asked Tazuna in surprise. Yes, and it was all done with a simple little mask. So you mean to tell me that all that stuff that guy said about being a hunter nin protecting his village, was a bunch of bull? Asked Tazuna. Correct, replied Kakashi, and I'm willing to bet that those two have played this little trick a few times before. That mask guy is mine, I'm taking him out, spoke Sasuke with determination, where he and Haku then charged forward at one another. Tazuna home at the same time that Team 7 and Kakashi were facing against Zabuza and Haku. Tazuna daughter Tsunade was washing the dishes from breakfast. As she was washing the dishes, she suddenly heard the door opening. When she turned around, she saw Gato's two bodyguards Zori and Waraji entering the house. So you're Tazuna daughter, huh? Too bad for you, as you'll have to come with us, spoke Zori. Upon seeing them, Tsunade tried to run away but she could not, as Zori quickly grabbed hold of her arm and pushed her into the nearby wall. Hearing his mother screams and the sound of things breaking, Inari quickly ran into the living room to see what was happening. When Tsunade saw her son, she told him to run away. Seeing Inari, Waraji quickly grabbed hold of Inari and pushed him into the other side of the room opposite his mother. Should we take this kid as well? Asked Waraji. No, Gato's asked for just one hostage, replied his partner. When Inari heard this, he then realized that Gato wanted to use his mother as a hostage and force him to give up. Well, that's fine by me. Let's waste him, said Waraji with a sadistic grin as he drew his katana out. Wait, please don't hurt my son, he's just a boy, he hasn't done anything wrong, I do anything, just don't hurt him, spoke Tsunade. Fine. Then you will come with us, without any resistance, said Zori before he turned to the teary and scared young Inari and smirked. Guess it's your lucky day, kid, your mom just came through for you and quat. After seeing his mother being tied up by Waraji and Zori and walking out the house with her, Inari began to cry even more and telling his mother that he was sorry over and over again and how he couldn't, as he was too scared. But as he was crying, he began to remember what his stepfather told him and what Naruto told him at the dinner table. Realizing that he could not just sit back and cry and let Waraji and Zori take his mother away, Inari knew he had to save his mother. As Waraji and Zori led Tsunade, Waraji turned around and cupped Tsunade's face, where he had a perverted-like grin. Don't worry your pretty little head, we're going to treat you fine. Come on, Waraji, we don't have time for this, spoke Zori. But before they could walk on, the two men and Tsunade suddenly heard Inari from behind telling them to stop. When they turned around, they saw Inari coming out of the house charging straight at them. Seeing Inari charging at them, the two men just smirked unafraid at the young boy. No, Inari, don't run away, cried Tsunade, but after saying this, Zori just hit her at the back of the head and knocked her out, not wanting to deal with her anymore. Let's finish this, said Zori, as if he was bored, where he and his partner drew their katanas and charged straight at Inari and slashed at him. But just when they had slashed at Inari, he quickly turned into a log. A Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, said Zori in surprise, recognizing the shinobi technique. The woman, she gone, said Waraji, when he turned around at Tsunade and saw that she was gone. What the hell is going on here? Well, looks like Kushina sensei was right on the money about what Gato would try, spoke a new voice, causing the two men to start looking around and try and find who had just spoken. When they turned around to look behind them, they saw a young blonde boy in a green outfit, putting Tsunade gently on the ground, all the while still holding on Inari. Naruto, what are you doing here? Spoke Inari, as Naruto put him down. Kushina sensei always suspected that there was a good chance that Gato might try and kidnap you or your mom, so to use against your grandfather. Hence she, Yamato sensei or me, would take turns to hide in the trees and watch the house, in case Gato did try this, spoke Naruto. Also sorry I was late, when I saw those guys enter the house, I didn't want to fight them in there where your mom and you could have been caught in the crossfire. So I waited until they came out, but before I could act you came out charging, continued Naruto, where he then smiled at the young boy. And I've to admit that you were pretty brave there and you did great, as when you distracted them, it gave me the opening I needed to rescue your mom without them knowing. Humph, this must be one of those shinobi brats that Tsunade hired, commented Waraji, when he saw Naruto. Get him, spoke Zori, where he and Waraji redrew their swords and charged at Naruto. Seeing the two goons charging at him, Naruto quickly threw some shurikens at the men, who quickly blocked the shurikens with their katanas. But what the two wannabe samurai didn't know was that the shurikens were just a distraction, where Naruto suddenly appeared right in front of Zori and punched him in the gut, while using his superhuman strength. After Naruto punched him, Zori was then sent flying into a large tree several meters and caused the tree to crash right on top of him. What the? Thought Waraji, when he saw what happened to his partner, but before he could think about it anymore, Naruto quickly spun around and delivered a powerful roundhouse kick and sent Waraji flying into the water, a few meters away. When Inari saw this, he was of course shocked at Naruto's incredible strength, as he had taken out the two men with little to no trouble. With Inari and Tsunade now safe, Naruto then told Inari to take care of his mom, while he went to check up on his friends at the bridge, as he guessed that if Gato was trying to kidnap Tsunade, then he was no doubt making his move on Tsunade at the bridge. At the bridge, clang, clang, were the sounds that echoed around the bridge, where Kakashi and Zabuza fought one another. As the two Jonin shinobis broke apart from one another, Kakashi glanced slightly at the dome of ice mirrors that now surrounded Sasuke and Sai. At the beginning of the battle, Haku and Sasuke had fought each other in a fierce battle, where the two of them ended in a stalemate, with each of them blocking the other attack, where neither could use either jutsu, or at least that was what Sasuke thought. For as soon as they had reached this deadlock, Haku had revealed the ability to do one-handed hand seals, much to everyone, minus Zabuza's, surprise. Where after doing the hand seals, thousands of ice needles formed around them and floated in mid-air, ready to strike. Seeing that Sasuke was in trouble, Sai had moved in to help Sasuke, by appearing behind Haku, where he tried to stab Haku in the back with his tanto. Unfortunately though, Haku expected something like this, where before Sai could stab the young ice user, Haku quickly jumped into the air to avoid the stab, while at the same time firing the ice needles that surrounded Sai and Sasuke. Luckily though, thanks to the tree climbing exercise, Sasuke as well as Sai were able to avoid being hit by the needles, by channeling their chakra to their feet and jumping up high into air. After avoiding Haku's needles, Sasuke and Sai quickly went on the offensive, where Sasuke threw several shurikens and Sai used his Choju Giga, Super Beast's imitation picture, to create several lions. Seeing the attacks, Haku skillfully avoided them, but as soon as he did, he was put on the defensive as Sai and Sasuke attacked him from different direction. Eventually though, Haku was beaten, where after avoiding a strike from Sai, Haku was sent flying by Sasuke, who had appeared next to Haku and delivered a strong kick to his mask-covered face. Naturally when Zabuza saw this, he had been surprised, as he never thought that mere brats could defeat Haku. But just when the two young Konoha shinobis thought they could win, Zabuza revealed that Haku had been going easy on them. After which Haku revealed his strongest technique, the Makyo Hyoshu, demonic ice crystal mirrors, where he created a dome of ice mirrors around them. Upon which Haku then merged with the mirrors and attacked Sai and Sasuke from all directions, making it virtually impossible for them to defend themselves. Kakashi had of course tried to help them, but Zabuza had intercepted him, forcing Kakashi to fight him. After glancing towards Sasuke and Sai, Kakashi quickly glanced at Sakura, who was staying with Tsunade, to defend him, in case Zabuza somehow got by him, Kakashi, and went for the bridge builder. Seeing Kakashi glancing at his students, Zabuza smirked in amusement. I would be more worried about myself than those brats if I were you, Kakashi and Quat. At this comment Kakashi did not respond, but narrowed his one visible eye and readied himself to continue the battle. As Kakashi and Zabuza faced off against one another, Sai and Sasuke were having trouble with their opponent, where both were heavily injured, with several needles sticking in them. Both of them were also having trouble moving, due to several needles that were stuck in the acupuncture points of their bodies. Even after they pulled some of them off, the effects of being hit in the points by the needles were slow to leave. This the end for you both, please do not bear any ill will towards me, as I do this only because I must, spoke Haku sadly from the mirror. After which images of Haku appeared on all the mirrors, making it impossible for Sai and Sasuke to tell which one was the real Haku and which direction the ice user would come from. Once the images of Haku appeared on all the ice mirrors, Haku then fired another barrage of needles at the two Jonin. But upon doing this, Haku, Sai and Sasuke suddenly heard a familiar voice cry out, Sarashu Fu, wind slash. After which the top mirror that was directly above Sasuke and Sai shattered, where a crescent-shaped blade cut through it and made a large cut on the ground. After which a green blur suddenly entered the ice dome and the sound of metal clashing with metal was heard. It was after this that Sasuke and Sai turned around to the side and saw another person standing next to them, who had defended them for Haku's assault with his now drawn katana. The person in question was none other than Naruto. So it seems that we were indeed fated to meet as enemies. Naruto thought. Haku, sadly your time is quite impeccable. Naruto-san spoke Sai, with some small ounce of gratitude, where Naruto just nodded. You should have just stayed outside the dome, dope, as you would have actually have been of some use out there, spoke Sasuke, as he didn't want to admit that he owed Naruto one. TSK, I would have, but I had to save your sorry ungrateful ass team, scoffed Naruto, as he kept his eye on Haku, who had remerged with the ice mirror. So I'm guess this is the guy who pretended to be the hunter nin that killed Zabuza, right? Asked Naruto, where Sai and Sasuke just nodded in confirmation. Correct, and as you can see he can use some kind of ice technique, spoke Sai. He's a Hyoton user from the Yuki clan of Kiri, then stated Naruto, surprising Sasuke and Sai and even Haku. You know about him? Asked Sasuke in surprise. Only bits and pieces, that I heard from Uro-sennin. From what I heard from him, the Yuki clan was a small clan in Kiri, who possessed a bloodline that allows them to use Hyoton, where they can create ice techniques that only they can do. Although until now I thought the clan was extinct, as the clan was said to have been wiped out a few years ago back when Kiri went under an upheaval, where people began to turn against bloodline holding clans, because they feared their great power on the battlefield and because they believed that the bloodline holders were the cause of all the war and infighting that was going on in Kiri, spoke Naruto, which of course surprised his teammates, when they heard this. You are well informed, Naruto-san, as you are indeed correct and I'm indeed the last living member of the Yuki clan, spoke Haku. When Naruto heard Haku's voice, his eyes suddenly widened in recognition. Haku, is that you? At this Haku let out a sad sigh before speaking. Yes, it is me, Naruto-san. When Haku said this, Naruto began to think over when he met Haku and remembered how the young Hyoton user had told him that he was looking for herbs for healing a friend that was injured. When he remembered this he cursed himself for not noticing this earlier and how he should have realized who Haku really was. You met him before, Naruto-san? Asked Sai. Sort of. Back when I left the house to train I met him, as he was picking herbs. I didn't know who he really at the time, so I helped him a bit, replied Naruto as he stared coldly at Haku. I would prefer not to fight you, Naruto-san, so I ask you only this one time, leave now. My object is only the bridge builder, not you. Can't do that, Haku. Tazuna hired Konoha shinobis to protect him and as one I will protect him with my life, spoke Naruto as he raised his katana up, where both Sai and Sasuke nodded in agreement and smirked slightly, where they prepared to continue the fight. Very well then, but know that none of you'll leave this place alive, spoke Haku, before attacking with another barrage of needles. Seeing the needles, Naruto quickly turned his katana around, so that he was holding it backwards, after which he then told Sai and Sasuke to stay close to him. After which he then started to gather the water around him and spin around at a high speed, where he then cried out Senkai no Mizu, swirling water, and created a vortex of water around him and the others, protecting them from Haku's needles. Naturally, when Haku saw this, the young ice user was surprised, but as surprised as Haku was, Zabuza was even more surprised. He knew that technique and the style that it came from. That style, that's the Arajuijin no Mai, dance of the raging water goddess, fighting style, thought Zabuza in surprise as he recognized the sword style. But how on earth can a mirror brat use that fighting style? Also, what was that technique he used to break Haku's ice mirror? It looked like some kind of wind technique. Just who the hell is that brat? Could he be actually a student of her? Once the water vortex around Naruto, Sai and Sasuke died down, Sasuke quickly turned to Naruto as surprise. What the hell was that? It's called the Senkai no Mizu, swirling water, technique. It a kenjutsu move that Kushina sensei taught me not long ago, replied Naruto as he kept his eye on Haku, who was in front of him. Upon hearing this, Sasuke frowned again in frustration at seeing how even after a few weeks Naruto had become even stronger. Most impressive, Naruto-san, you're indeed skilled, just as I thought, spoke Haku. Naruto of course did not reply to Haku's praise, where he just readied himself for battle along with Sai and Sasuke, where after a minute or two they attacked. As the battle with the three Genin and Haku waged, Zabuza and Kakashi continue with their battle, but soon enough they broke apart again from one another. After breaking away again from Kakashi, Zabuza quickly glanced over at where Haku was fighting Naruto and the others. When he looked over he could see that despite their situation the three Genin were able to still hold their own well, as whenever two of them went of the offensive the third member would defend the others from any attacks from behind by Haku. Zabuza also saw that Naruto was actually able to do some damage to Haku Mirror Dome, much to his surprise, where Naruto had used his Surashu Fu to destroy several of the mirrors. But luckily though, Haku was able to reform the mirrors just as soon as Naruto destroyed them. Seeing this, Zabuza turned back to look at Kakashi and smirked slightly behind his mask. That's quite the impressive brat you got there, Kakashi. I'm afraid I can't take credit for him, Zabuza. As he isn't exactly my student, or at least not my full-time student, replied Kakashi, which made Zabuza frown, not fully understanding what Kakashi meant by that. Well, even so, those 3 brats are as good as dead, as no one can escape Haku's technique. Not even me, replied the confident Zabuza. I wouldn't be so sure of that, Zabuza, especially when it comes to Naruto and Sasuke. Oh, and what makes you so sure of that? Asked Zabuza, generally curious as to what Kakashi had such faith in Naruto and Sasuke. Well, it quite simply, really, since I know what both those boys are capable of, and you would understand as well if you knew who they really were and what, answered Kakashi. And what exactly do you mean by that? Asked Zabuza. Well, you see, both Naruto and Sasuke are the heirs of the 2 most powerful clans in Konohagakure, who founded it, replied Kakashi. At this, Zabuza's eyes widened in surprise when he realized what Kakashi was saying. You mean? Yes, Sasuke's full name is Uchiha Sasuke, and the unique bloodline of the Uchiha clan runs through Sasuke's veins, and the Sharingan is his birthright, stated Kakashi before he continued on. And Naruto's full name Senju, Naruto sole heir to the Senju clan, the main founders of Konoha. Ah, I had heard the rumors that a single young boy had survived the tragedy of the Uchiha clan. No wonder he advances so quickly. But I don't believe you on that other brat. There's no way that brat could be of the Senju clan, as that clan is extinct. The only actually living member is. Spoke Zabuza confidently until it suddenly hit him, where his eyes widened in shock. No, it's not possible. At this, Kakashi smirked behind his mask, seeing that Zabuza had realized the truth. Oh yes, it is, as Naruto is the son of Senju Tsunade of the Sannin, as well as the direct descendant of the Shodaime Hokage, Senju Hashirama, and the Nidaime Hokage, Senju Tobirama. Tsunade of the Sannin had a child? Said Zabuza in surprise, as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. No wonder that brat is so strong. He the son of one of the Sannin, correct, and I tell you little something else about him. Spoke Kakashi as he lifted his headband to reveal his Sharingan. Naruto's potential surpasses my own and quad. At hearing this, Zabuza's concerns grew as he was beginning to doubt Haku's chances to win, as Sasuke would be trouble enough. But given Naruto and his revealed heritage along with Sai, he was beginning to wonder if Haku could really win, especially after Kakashi stated that Naruto's potential surpassed his own. As Zabuza knew that Kakashi wouldn't say something like that unless he believed it to be true. Blast, I can't afford to toy with Kakashi anymore, as I need to take care of the bridge builder and Kakashi now and then help Haku. Not to mention, if I'm right about who trained the boy, given his Kenjutsu style, some serious trouble is most likely on the way here, thought Zabuza with a frown. After which he used his Kirkakura no Jutsu to make the mist thicker and disappear, so that Kakashi could no longer use his Sharingan on him. When Kakashi and Zabuza recommenced their battle, Naruto and the others continued with their battle. As the battle raged in the ice dome, Sai quickly deflected several senbone needles fired at him by Haku from one of the ice mirrors. But as soon as Sai deflected the senbone needles, Haku appeared out of another one of the ice mirrors behind Sai, and tried to stab him with some senbone needles in the back of the head. But before Haku could hit Sai, the young ice user suddenly heard Sasuke's voice cry out, "Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, fire style, great fireball technique." When Haku glanced to the left, the young ice user saw a large ball of fire flying towards him. Upon seeing the large fireball, Haku quickly avoided the attack, but after avoiding Sasuke's attack, Haku then saw Naruto appear next to him with his katana in mid-swing ready to slash him. Seeing this, Haku quickly spun to the left to avoid the slash, but even though Haku avoided Naruto's slash, the young ice user still received a slash mark on his mask. When Haku avoided Naruto's attack, Haku then quickly merged with another one of the ice mirrors, right before Sai's ink beasts could hit him. After avoiding both Sai's and Naruto's attacks, Haku quickly transported to a different ice mirror near Sasuke and tried to attack the young Uchiha by using his high speed. But when Haku stuck, Sasuke spun around and blocked Haku's strike with his kunai, much to the young ice user's surprise. Impossible. There's no possible way that normal human eyes could keep up with my speed, so how did he see me coming? Thought Haku with surprise. Although Sasuke could not see Haku's face, he could tell that the young ice user was surprised. "You're not the only special one here," spoke Sasuke with a smirk, where when Haku looked directly at Sasuke's face, the ice user's eyes widened slightly in surprise, as he saw Sasuke's eyes. For instead of black eyes, Sasuke's eyes were now red with 2 tomos in his right eye and 1 in his left. "The Sharingan," muttered Haku in surprise. "It's not complete, but it's still enough to keep up with your speed," spoke Sasuke, after which he then tried to kick Haku in the side, but was unable to hit Haku, as the young ice user was able to jump back. But just as Haku avoided the kick, Naruto appeared from above him and attempted to slash Haku again with his sword. But once again Haku avoided Naruto's slash and merged with one of the ice mirrors. When Haku merged with the ice mirrors again, Naruto quickly glanced at Sasuke and smirked. Pretty good moves there, team, and I see that you finally acquired the Sharingan. Yay, now I can keep up with his moves and you weren't too bad yourself there, Senju, replied Sasuke. After Sasuke said this, Haku then appeared in the ice mirror in front of them. It seems that I have greatly underestimated you all, especially you two, stated Haku, where the ice user looked at Sasuke and Naruto. I had no idea that you were of the Uchiha clan, said Haku when the ice user looked at Sasuke, before turning to Naruto, let alone that you, Naruto, were of the Senju clan, as I was under the impression that your clan died out. Well, you find that I'm full of surprise, Haku, replied Naruto with a smirk. Indeed, replied Haku, as the young ice user knew that he could no longer let this battle continue on, as the Makyo Hyoshu used up a great deal of chakra and took even more to maintain, meaning that if this battle continued much longer he would run out of chakra. Deciding to end this now, Haku quickly went on the offensive, where images of Haku once again appeared all around the three Konoha, after which a barrage of senbon needles were fired from all direction, forcing Naruto and the others on the defensive. But even though Naruto the others were able to deflect most of the senbon needles, they were unable to deflect them all, due to the sheer number of them and the speed they flew at. But what Naruto and the others didn't know was that this barrage of needles was just a distraction to keep them occupied, which allowed Haku to appear from the ice mirror directly above them and jump down between them. When Haku suddenly appeared behind them, the three boys quickly spun around to face their opponent, after sensing him. Unfortunately though, it was too late for both Sai and Sasuke, as Haku quickly hit them with several senbon needles, where both boys fell to the ground in a dead-like state. Naruto, although, was able to avoid being hit, by raising his katana up in time, but when he did this, some needles were able to hit certain points in his arm, making it go numb and worthless and causing him to drop his katana. Seeing what happened, Haku quickly moved forward on Naruto so to finish the job on him and take advantage of his disability. Seeing this, Naruto quickly flipped backwards, just as Haku struck at him, where he then threw several shurikens at Haku, forcing the young ice user to jump back to avoid them, upon which Haku then merged back in with the ice mirrors. After forcing Haku back, Naruto then quickly went over to Sai and Sasuke to see how they were, where when he checked their pulses, he couldn't feel anything at first. But Naruto quickly realized that they were in a death-like state, much like Zabuza was in earlier on, when he saw the positions that the needles were in on their bodies. Sighing slightly in relief, Naruto turned around to face Haku, who had just appeared in one of the ice mirrors. Your friends are now dead, Naruto-san, and you are all alone and you have lost the use of your right arm. You've lost this battle, spoke Haku, although became curious when Naruto just smirked. Can the act, Haku? You know as well as I do that neither Sasuke nor Sai are dead. They're just in a death-like state, just like the one you put Zabuza a while back, and you're no killer. As for my right arm being useless, I wouldn't be so sure of that, said Naruto, where he then pulled the needles out of his arm and was able to move his arm again, much to Haku's surprise. But how? Even if you pull the needles out correctly, the effects should still take hold of you for some time, spoke the surprised ice user. Well, let's just say that I heal fast and leave it at that, replied Naruto, as this was one of the rare occasions that he was glad he had the Kyuubi in him. I see, but even if you can use your right arm again, you still cannot win as you are alone, replied Haku. I wouldn't be so sure of that either, replied Naruto with another smirk, where the then did a single hand seal and cried out, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shadow clone technique. Where several dozen suddenly appeared around Naruto, much to Haku's surprise, upon which Naruto then had all his clones attack the ice mirrors at the same time. Reacting quickly to Naruto attempts to escape the ice dome, Haku quickly used the technique that projected images of him on all the mirrors and attacked the clones, destroying most of them within a few seconds. Unfortunately, Haku was unable to destroy all of them, where one of the Narutos was able to shatter one of the mirrors with his bare fist, much to Haku's surprise. Impossible. How can he have the strength to be able to destroy one of my mirrors with just his bare hands? Thought Haku his surprise, but quickly got over it, as the young ice user then quickly transported to one of the shattered pieces of the ice mirror that Naruto destroyed and emerged from it and attacked Naruto from behind and stabbed him in the back. But as soon as Haku had done this, Naruto puffed into smoke, revealing that he had been a clone. Realizing that he had been tricked, Haku tried to renter one of his mirrors. But before the young ice user could, he felt a hand grab hold of him, stopping him from moving. When Haku turned around, the young ice user saw that it was Naruto who had grabbed hold of him, upon which Haku realized that Naruto had used the clones not to break out of the ice dome, but as bait to lure him out of the ice mirrors. This is where it ends, Haku stated Naruto, where he then quickly raised his arm and used his enhanced strength, not at full power, and punched Haku right in his mask, causing it to break into pieces, as well as sending the ice user flying straight through the one of the ice mirrors and shattering it. After being sent through the ice mirror, Haku continued fly through the air a bit, due to the power that Naruto put in his punch, before crashing to the ground in a heap, where after landing Haku tried to pick himself up, but was unable to do, due to the punch that Naruto gave the young Yuki clan member. When Haku looked up, the ice user could see the ice dome falling apart into pieces, due to him being out of chakra, as well as Naruto coming towards him, with his katana in hand. "Forgive Zabuza-sama, I am no match for this boy," thought Haku sadly, as Naruto stood over him holding his katana in front of Haku's face. As Naruto held his katana over Haku's face, the young ice user spoke, "Why do you hesitate? Kill me. I've lost my purpose in living. I've failed Zabuza-sama. I am no longer fit to be his weapon." "What kind of fucked up crap are you talking about? You're not a weapon, you're a human being, you have your own life and your own free will. Why the hell would you want to die, simply because I defeated you?" asked Naruto. What Haku was saying didn't make any sense. For the next few minutes Haku went on to explain his life in Mizu no Kuni, Water Country, and how when his father discovered that he and his mother were bloodline holders, he gathered a mob and killed Haku's mother and then tried to kill Haku, but were killed themselves when Haku accidentally used his bloodline to kill them. After which he roamed the cold streets of Kiri during the dead of winter until he was found by Zabuza and made him his weapon, thereby giving him a purpose in living again. When Naruto heard this, several different thoughts ran through his head as he was unsure what to say or think at what Haku told him. "I can understand why you feel that you owe Zabuza after he took you in, but that still doesn't make it right that he views you and treats you like some kind of weapon," spoke Naruto. "But is what I am his tool to use in whatever way he wishes," spoke Haku. "Stop being such a baka, Haku," cried Naruto angrily, which surprised the young ice user. "You're a human being, just like me, you're not a tool, you feel pain, you feel joy, you feel sorrow, and you have your own dreams just like me or anyone else. The only person that has a right to decide how you live your life is yourself, as it's your life, not his." As Haku heard this, the young ice user understood what Naruto was saying, but even still he was too loyal to Zabuza. "If you say that I can choose how I live my life, Naruto-san, then I choose to serve Zabuza-sama as his weapon, as that is my purpose and my dream is to help him to achieve his dream, for he is my precious person and I would gladly give my life up for him. So kill me now and be done with it." "Ugh," cried Naruto in frustration. "Damn it, Haku, I won't kill you, simply because you think you should die." At this Haku could not help but smile kindly despite the situation he was in, as the young ice user could tell that Naruto was a kind individually and that the two of them were a lot alike many ways. But as Haku and Naruto were talking to one another, the two shinobis heard a cry of pain, after which the mist slowly began to die down, where they then saw Zabuza, a pack of on top of Zabuza, biting deeply into his arms and legs, preventing him from moving. Also at the same time they heard a large chirping noise, where when they looked they saw Kakashi holding his right hand, which was now covered in lightning. "Shit's that Kakashi-sensei Reikiri, lightning cutter," thought Naruto in surprise at seeing the jutsus with his own eyes for the first time, as he had heard about it from his godfather, as it was one of Kakashi's strongest moves and was the advanced form of his only originally jutsu, the Chidori, 1000's birds. He had also heard from his godfather that Kakashi had given the technique this name after he cut a bolt of lightning with it. Upon seeing that Zabuza was in trouble, as well as seeing that Naruto was monetarily distracted, as he was looking towards Kakashi, Haku quickly took advantage of Naruto's distraction and spun around, kicking Naruto off his feet and making fall onto his back, after which Haku then quickly got back onto his feet. But before he raced off towards Zabuza, Haku turned to look at Naruto sadly, who was still on the ground. "I'm sorry, Naruto-san, if he had met at another time and in another place, I believe we could have been friends." "But we're friends, Haku," spoke Naruto as he tried to stop the young ice user, as he knew what Haku was planning to do. At hearing this Haku could not help but smile sadly before disappearing and using the last of his chakra to create an ice mirror so to appear next to Zabuza. "Damn it, Haku, you baka," muttered Naruto as he got back up, where when he saw Kakashi racing towards Zabuza, he knew he wouldn't be able to stop Haku in time, leaving him with only one other option left, where he then started doing some quick hand seals. "I'm going to be in some much trouble after this. This is the end for you, Zabuza. Your future is death," stated Kakashi as held up his Reikiri and charged straight at Zabuza. But just as he was charging at Zabuza, Kakashi suddenly saw an ice mirror appear next to Zabuza, where Haku suddenly emerged from it and stood in front of Zabuza to shield him from Kakashi's attack with his own body. Kakashi of course could not stop or avoid Haku in time, and just when he was about to stab Haku right through the heart with his lightning-covered hand, he suddenly heard someone cry out, "Suten, Teppodama, water style, gunshot," where a large blast of water crashed right into him in the side and sent him flying sideways and onto the ground. Surprised by this, Haku and Zabuza both quickly turned to where the blast of water came from. When they did, they were surprised to see that it had been Naruto who had fired the jutsu. "Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Why did you just attack Kakashi-sensei?" cried Sakura in surprise as both she and Tazuna had seen what had happened. I'm sorry Kakashi-sensei, but I couldn't let you kill Haku, it wasn't right, spoke Naruto. Naruto thought Haku, as the young ice users didn't know what to think as Naruto had just attacked his own comrade just to save him. Mahahaha, ha ha ha, well Kakashi, it seems that you were wrong again about me dying, spoke Zabuza as he looked over toward Kakashi, who was just picking himself up after being hit by Naruto's attack. And this time I was saved by one of your own students, continued Zabuza, where despite his injuries from Kakashi's ninja dogs, who had returned home. Right when Kakashi charged at Zabuza, Zabuza lifted up his arm and took hold of his sword and pushed Haku to the side and charged straight at Kakashi. Seeing Zabuza was coming towards him, Kakashi quickly prepared to defend himself, but just as Zabuza had crossed half the gap between them, Zabuza suddenly found himself being wrapped around by a chain, which pinned him arms to his body and forcing him to stop, after which Zabuza found an unknown Konoha ninja standing behind him with a kunai against his neck. Nice timing, Yamato, spoke Kakashi as he greeted his comrade, who nodded. Zabuza-sama, muttered Haku, who was about to go help Zabuza, but before the young ice user could, he found the tip of a blade at his neck, where when Haku looked to the left, he saw Naruto standing next to him with a serious look that said not this time and quat. When Zabuza saw the situation that he and Haku were in now, he knew they had lost, where he cursed himself several times over, as he had become too focused on his battle with Kakashi, that he had forgotten about Naruto-sensei's. Well, it seems that the big bad demon of the hidden mist was all talk, just like I thought. You couldn't even kill a simple old man, spoke a new voice, where when Zabuza, Haku, Tazuna and the Konoha nins looked to the end of the bridge, they saw Gato along with 100 or so of his hired goons. Gato, what the hell are you doing here? Asked Zabuza angrily when he saw the greedy businessmen. Isn't oblivious, I'm here to do the job you couldn't, as it's clear that you weren't up to the task, but it's just as well as I never planned on paying you to begin with, and since most of you are all tired out and hurt from fighting each other, my men will have no problem taking you all out. Gato, you piece of vermin, cried Tazuna out angrily. Sticks and stones, Tazuna, sticks and stones. Besides, I suggest that you not resist, not unless you want that lovely daughter of yours to be hurt, as I sent my 2 best men to your house and they should be here any minute now with her, sneered Gato. When Tazuna heard this, he was about ready to tear Gato apart, but before Tazuna could say or do anything, Naruto spoke up. If you're talking about those 2 wannabe samurai who you sent to kidnap Tsunade, then I guess I should tell you not to expect them anytime soon, as they're taking a long nap and won't be doing anything for a long time, and quat. Upon hearing this, Tazuna sighed with relief at his daughter being safe and planned to thank Naruto later, while at the same time Gato frowned at this information, as he had begun to wonder what was taking his men so long. It doesn't matter as you're all going to die here, replied Gato with a sneer, before he turned back to his men. All right, you lot, I don't want a single one of them left alive, and there's a 10,000 Ryo bonus for the man who kills the bridge builder and a 50,000 Ryo bonus for the head of Zabuza's brat, as I want him to pay for breaking my arm, and quat. At this the small army of thugs cheered loudly at the idea of being paid bonuses. When Zabuza heard what Gato said, he turned to Kakashi. It seems that our fight has come to an end, Kakashi, and we are no longer enemies. So it seems, replied the copy nin, where he signaled to Yamato that he could let go of Zabuza, as with Gatoi betrayal, Zabuza no longer had a reason to be their enemy and they were now on the same side. Yamato of course loosened the chain around Zabuza, letting him go, although did stay near him, on the chance that he might try something against them. Seeing Zabuza and the others were going to resist, Gato just sneered, as he was certain that with the number of men that he on his side, he would win. But before Gato could give the order to attack, an arrow suddenly flew right past him, barely missing his head. What the? Spoke the short businessman when he saw the arrow and looked to the other end of the bridge, from where the arrow came from. When he looked, he saw all the villagers gathered at the edge of the bridge, right behind Zabuza and the Konoha shinobis, and were being led by a young boy, who was wearing a stir-fry pan on his head like a helmet and was holding a crossbow in his head. That's as far as you go, Gato. We're not going to let you take on step into our village, spoke Inari, where all the villagers behind him cheered, as they were all ready to fight to defend their home. Tazuna of course was amazed at the sight, as he never thought he would see something like this, as ever since Kei's death, the people of Nami no Kuni, Wave Country, had lost their will to fight. Yet now he was seeing his entire village here standing up to Gato and his men and willing to fight for their homes. But what shocked Tazuna even more was that it was his own grandson who was leading the villagers and rallied them to stand up and fight Gato. When he saw this, the old bridge builder could not help but wonder what happened to his grandson to cause this kind of change in him. At the same time, Naruto could not help but smirk at seeing Inari leading the villagers of Nami no Kuni against Gato. Nice going, Inari, and quat. When Gato saw this, he became furious at how the people of Nami no Kuni were raising up against him. He got even angrier when he saw that some of his men looked worried, as these weren't the same broken villagers that they had been used to dealing with. "What are you lot doing? They're only a group old men and women, with pitchforks and rusted tools, being led by a brat," cried Gato, whereupon hearing this, his men regained what little courage they all had to begin with. "Now kill them all and don't leave us in, Aragon," spoke Gato, but cried out in pain, before he could finish speaking, when a sword sprung out from his chest, after which the blade retreated back into Gato, where the greedy tyrant fell to the ground dead, in a small growing pool of his own blood. "Finally the bastard shut up," muttered the person who had stabbed Gato. When the men saw their leader fall to the ground dead, they immediately took notice of the person who had appeared out nowhere right behind Gato and killed him. The person in question was a tall attractive young woman, with long bright red hair, wearing an onbu outfit and holding a long katana in her left hand. 1. After stabbing Gato, the woman in question then quickly shine, body flickered away and reappeared right next to Naruto and Haku. "Nice timing, Kushina-sensei, but sure took your sweet time," spoke Naruto with a smirk, when he saw his female sensei. Kushina of course smirked back at the remark, before speaking, "Yay, sorry about that. By time we found Zabuza's hideout, the entire place was empty and we realized that he and Gato must have left to attack Tazuna and the rest of you, so we raced as quickly as we could here. But by the time we got here, we saw that Kakashi was about to finish off Zabuza, only to be stopped by you," stated Kushina, where she stared at her student with a serious look. At this, Naruto started to sweat a little with worry, as he knew he was in trouble with his sensei. "Yay, about that," spoke Naruto nervously. "We talk about it once things are settled here," interrupted Kushina with a serious tone, where Naruto just gulped, not looking forward to that talk. At the same time that this was happening, Zabuza was staring at the newly arrived Kushina intently. "So I was right. The brat is the student of the Baratie Shinku no Ikari, Bloody Crimson Fury. I knew he had to be, as she's the only one that could have taught him the Arajuijin no my fighting style," thought Zabuza. As he had heard of Kushina, back when he was still with Kiri and Onbu, she was especially famed in Kiri for the unique Kenjutsu style that she created and used. Zabuza's attention although soon turned back from Kushina to the army of thugs that were in front of them, as the thugs were unhappy at how Kushina had just killed their meal ticket. "What are they? Hell are we going now?" spoke one thug. "I say we kill this lot and take whatever is worth taking from the village," spoke another thug. "Yay, and if we take Zabuza's head along with his partners to Kiri, maybe we can a reward for it," said third thug. "Dibs on the redhead there, as she looks like she could be fun," said the first thug, as he eyed Kushina with lustful eyes, which made the red-headed Kunoichi feel dirty and want a shower. Upon hearing this, Naruto became furious, where he slowly walked forwards towards the thugs. Since being raised by two women for most of his life, Naruto had naturally had a strong hatred of rapists or those who abused or beat women. Hence, after hearing on what one of the thugs wanted to do to his sensei, not to mention what they were thinking on doing to Inari's home, Naruto wasn't planning on showing these guys any mercy. When Kushina saw Naruto walking forwards towards Gato's thugs, she called out to Naruto, telling him to stay back and let her and Yamato deal with them, as both of them were fresh and could easily deal with them. While Naruto and Kakashi were both tried from their battle and neither Sai nor Sasuke were in any condition to fight, Naruto of course ignored Kushina as she called out to him, and continued to walk towards the men. After walking a few meters away from Kushina and the others, Naruto stopped. Well, look at this, boys. It seems that this brat is going to take us all on by himself, spoke one of the thugs, where the others just laughed. Naruto of course ignored the thugs' laughter and began to slowly crack his knuckles, where upon seeing this, the Konoha shinobi quickly realized what Naruto was going to do. "He isn't going to do what I think he's going to do?" asked Sakura, slightly worried. "I'm afraid so," replied Yamato, with a slight sigh. "Oh boy," spoke Kushina. When Zabuza, Haku and Tazuna heard this, all of them had confused looks on their faces, along with most of the villagers of Nami no Kuni, as none of them could understand what the Konoha shinobis were talking about. "Hey Tazuna," cried Naruto as he looked over his shoulder to look at Tazuna, "do you have any spare building material for the bridge?" "Yay, plenty of it. Why?" asked the old bridge builder. "Good, because I'm afraid that I'm going to be putting you behind schedule a bit," answered Naruto. At this, Tazuna became even more confused at what Naruto was going to do, but before he could ask what Naruto meant, one of the thugs suddenly cried out, "Enough of this crap, let's kill them." Upon which the 100 or so thugs charged forward at Naruto and the others. Begin Himataru Tashi soundtrack. As the thugs came towards him, Naruto just smirked, where he then quickly channeled an immense amount of chakra inside his body, and a moment later gathered it into his fist. After which Naruto then slammed his fist into the ground and cried out, "Chikakuendo, Earth Shaker Impact," and released the chakra into the ground, where, thanks to Naruto's superhuman strength, the entire section of the bridge that the thugs were on began shake, causing the thugs to stop in their tracks. After which, cracks began to appear on the bridge section, where the ground underneath the thugs' feet rose up and the entire front section of the bridge fell apart into pieces into the water below, along with the thugs themselves, where many of them drowned due to either being unable to swim or because large pieces of the bridge fell on top of them, while the rest quickly swam back to the boat from which they came from with Gato and quickly sailed away never to come back. Naturally, after seeing this, all the non-Konoha shinobis were of course completely blown away at seeing Naruto destroying the entire front section of the bridge with just a single punch. When Inari and the rest of the villagers of Nami no Kuni saw this, every single one of their jaws literally hit the ground, while their eyes were the size of saucers. Kazuna himself was dumbstruck, where he planned to get himself plastered later on, as he couldn't believe what he had seen. Zabuza himself was equally as stunned, as he couldn't believe the strength that Naruto had, especially at so young an age. Unbelievable. They boy really is the son of Tsunade of the Sannin. Amazing, muttered Haku with a shocked look, as the young ice user still found it hard to accept that Naruto possessed that kind of strength and held it back during their battle. End Himataru Tushi soundtrack. Figures Brat had to hog all the glory for himself, muttered Kushina with an amused smirk, while her partner Yamato just sighed at what Naruto did, as he was getting more and more like his mother, where he would cause more and more excessive destruction. Kakashi himself let out a tired sigh, after his battle, where he just sat on the ground and smirked behind his mask as he looked at Naruto. You certainly have a knack for the dramatics, Naruto, mused the copy nin, as Naruto had ended this battle in a way that no one would forget at any time soon. Several days later, the next several days after the battle on the bridge had been fairly calm in Nami no Kuni, for Naruto and the Konoha nin, with the exception of a few incidents. After the battle, both Kushina and Yamato spoke to Naruto about interfering with Kakashi's battle with Zabuza. When Naruto told them his reason as to why he attacked Kakashi, both senseis were somewhat understanding towards Naruto's plight and why he did what he did. But even still, Kushina and Yamato had to punish him, as things could have easily had gone wrong. Hence Naruto was giving several intense training regimens, along with helping with the building of the section of the bridge that he destroyed, as well as helping to heal and care for Kakashi while he recovered from his injuries and from using his Sharingan for so long. Kakashi of course made sure to milk as much as he could out of the situation, where he had Naruto wait on him nearly hand and foot, where he Naruto do thing likes, getting him something to eat or drink, as well as feeding him, having him hold up his Icha book, which Yamato forced Naruto to give back to Kakashi, and turn the pages for him, as well as many other things. Naturally, Naruto had been fairly ticked off, with how he was like Kakashi's slave, but knew he had little choice, given how he did technically attack him. But eventually Naruto reached his limit when Kakashi called him Nurse Naruto, after which Naruto then forced feed Kakashi with the worst tasting medicine that the copy nin had ever tasted, thereby ensuring that Kakashi would never call Naruto nurse again. Kakashi of course was not Naruto's only patient, as he also has Sai and Sasuke, along with Haku and Zabuza, who despite being former enemies, were allowed to stay. Both Sasuke and Sai were of course bedridden for a couple days, due to being in the death-like state that Haku put them in with the senbon needles. When Sakura found them, she had naturally be distraught, when she though that her Sasuke-kun was dead and even tried to attack Haku, believing that the ice user killed Sasuke. Naruto of course stopped her and explained to her that neither Sasuke nor Sai were dead, and that they were put in the same kind of state that Haku had put Zabuza a while back, where once Naruto correctly pulled the needles out, both Sai and Sasuke awoke. When Sakura saw that Sasuke was alive, she naturally became teary-eyed and hugged Sasuke tightly, much to the young Uchiha discomfort, where he tried to get her off him. Naturally, after the battle of the bridge, things had been a bit unsettling for Tazuna and his family, when Naruto and the others brought the injured Zabuza and Haku into the house. This was of course understandable given how they had been hired to kill Tazuna, where the members of the family were of course nervous to be around Haku and Zabuza, even after Kakashi and Naruto assured them that neither of Zabuza or Haku had any reason to harm the bridge builder or his family anymore. Eventually though things calmed down, where Tsunade even became friendly with Haku, where they two would often work together to make meals. But even so, not everyone was as forgiving towards Haku as Tsunade, as Sasuke still held a slight grudge against the young Yuki clan members, due to Haku defeating him. This defeat was made all the more bitter to the young Uchiha, when he learned that after Haku had knocked out him and Sai, as well as Naruto defeating Haku and then later taking out Gato gang of thugs by himself. But even still, Sasuke took some solace in the fact that he finally awoke in his Sharingan, where upon recovering he began to practice in using it, so that he could activate it when he wanted it. Haku injuries had been of course minor, despite the slight injury that Naruto had given the young ice user when he punched Haku in the head, where thankfully the mask had protected him from much of the harm. Naruto had of course offered to give Haku a full check over to make sure that the young ice user had no other injuries, but Haku stated that he was fine and he could check himself over. Zabuza's injuries were of course a bit more serious, where much like Kakashi he was bedridden for a while, where the two men were left in the same room together. This was to make sure that Zabuza would not try anything, for even though Zabuza had no reason to go after Tsunade and his family, it did not state that he wouldn't try anything against Kakashi or the others, hence either Yamato of Kushina would always be on guard in the house, whenever everyone was gone to work on the bridge or asleep at night. "Well Zabuza, it seems that you're healing quite nicely," spoke Naruto after checking on the former mist swordsman injuries. "TSK. Yay, well, when can I finally be able to move and get out of here, as unlike Kakashi over there, I don't like spending days on end lying down and doing nothing," spoke Zabuza, as he looked over at the sleeping Kakashi. "Well, I'm afraid you just have to bear it for a little while longer, as although you're healing well, your wounds can still easily open up, meaning you've to stay in bed for a while longer and rest," answered Naruto. Naturally Zabuza was not pleased to hear this, as he wanted to be on the move as soon as possible, before Kiri's Hunter Nin squads caught on to him and Haku. "Since you'll be with us for a little while longer, there is something I want to talk to you about," spoke Naruto. "What about?" asked Zabuza. "It's about Haku." "What about Haku? What is Haku to you?" "What do you mean?" "What I mean is, what do you think of Haku? Do you think of him as a friend, a comrade, or something else?" asked Naruto. "Haku is just a tool to me, a weapon that I use against my enemies, nothing more," replied Zabuza without any emotion. But as soon as he said this, Zabuza found a scalpel blade pointed right at his throat, with an angry Naruto standing over him. "You dare call Haku that again and I swear I open you up and gut you like a fish, here and now," spoke Naruto in a deadly tone. Surprised but unafraid by Naruto's threat, Zabuza raised his eyebrow. "Why do you even care what I think of Haku? Better yet, why do you even care about Haku to begin with?" asked Zabuza. Since this was the second time that Naruto had defended Haku, the first being when he stopped Kakashi from stabbing the young ice user with his Reikiri. "Because Haku is my friend and I won't stand for anyone attacking or insulting my friends," replied Naruto, which surprised the former demon of the mist, at how Naruto called Haku his friend so easily. "You may be skilled, boy, but you're naive in the real world of the shinobi, as I'm merely using Haku's skill and power for my own use, just as Gato tried to use me," replied Zabuza. "So mean to tell me that all those years you and Haku spent together, fighting alongside one another and traveling together, meant nothing to you?" spoke Naruto. "Because if you do mean that Haku means nothing to you, then you're an even bigger fool than I thought you were," and quat. At this comment Zabuza did not reply and simply looked away from Naruto. When Naruto saw this he became even angrier. "Why you? After everything Haku has done for you, he lived for you and was willing to die for you without a second thought, and yet you're telling me he meant nothing to you at all? Haku has given up everything just to help you achieve your selfish dream of becoming Mizukage, and you've never once considered letting Haku live his own life his way. You never let him have his own dream or give him a choice in anything. You are probably the closest thing that Haku has to a family, and you treat him like a disposable tool instead of human being. That isn't right. Haku deserves better. You know it and I know it." After saying all this, Naruto saw that Zabuza kept looking away him, refusing to look at Naruto. When Naruto saw this he grew angry, but quickly got up and walked out of the room, refusing to waste any more of his time on the man. Once Naruto left the room, Zabuza remained silent for several minutes, going over what Naruto had said to him, and as much as he hated to say it, Naruto's words had gotten to him. They had cut deeper than any blade or injury that he had received over the years, as Naruto had been right. Haku did mean something to him, no matter how much he denied it to himself. Zabuza had also realized how badly he had treated Haku and how Naruto was indeed right, and how Haku did deserve better. "He got to you, didn't he?" spoke Kakashi suddenly, causing Zabuza to turn to the copy nin. "So you were awake?" stated Zabuza. "I'm guessing you heard everything?" "Pretty much," replied Kakashi with a slight smirk behind his mask, as it's not every day that one would get to see the famed Kirigakura no Kijin at a loss of words after arguing with a young Jinan and quat. At this Zabuza just scoffed and turned his back to Kakashi, who just smirked further, knowing that he was right about Naruto getting to Zabuza. He also guessed that Zabuza had a lot to think over the next few days now, after which Kakashi decided to leave Zabuza bin and closed his eyes to get some rest. A few days later in the early morning, as the early morning sun rose over the horizon and it shone through the window of the room that Naruto, Sai and Sasuke were sharing, the rays of the sun shone down on Naruto's face, due to him being nearest to the window, where he slowly woke up. After fully awakening, Naruto looked out the window and saw that it was going to be another beautiful day. Not wanting to wake either Sasuke or Sai, who were still sleeping, Naruto quietly sunk out of the room and headed to the bathroom to wash and change, as he wanted to do some early morning training before everyone else got up. When Naruto reached the bathroom, he quickly opened the door, believing that he was the only one up and that there would be no one in the bathroom. But upon opening the door, Naruto's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets in surprise, for when he opened the bathroom he saw Haku stepping out of the shower with a towel being the only thing covering the ice user's body. Normally this would not be a surprise or be an issue with Naruto, but the thing that caught Naruto by surprise was the fact that the wet towel that covered Haku's body clung tightly around the ice user's body, showing two medium-sized lumps on Haku's chest along with a slightly curvy figure and long feminine legs. Why yo, you're a girl," stuttered Naruto in surprise as he pointed at Haku. For a moment or two, the two of them just stared at one another, frozen in surprise, but that soon came to an end when Haku then let out a loud scream in horror, before the now revealed female Haku began to grab onto anything she could grab hold of and throw at Naruto, who did his best to avoid everything that Haku had thrown at him, although eventually Naruto was hit right between the eyes by a large bar of soap that Haku had thrown, causing the young Senju to fall backwards and out of bathroom, after which Haku then created several ice needles and sent them flying at Naruto, who couldn't avoid them in time and was pinned against the wall behind him. Still in full feminine fury and outrage and not able to fully think on what she was doing, Haku quickly took hold of a plunger, which was nearby and planned to beat Naruto over the head with it. But as soon as she stepped out of the bathroom and into the hallway, she found Tsunade, Inari, Tsunade, Sakura, Yamato, Kushina, Sasuke, Sai along with Zabuza and Kakashi, who were now well enough to walk around, standing in the hallway, hearing Haku scream and believe that they were under attack, staring at her towel-covered body. When the rest of the household saw the towel-covered Haku, the majority of the group, with the exception of Zabuza, were shocked at Haku being actually a girl, as they were seeing the same things as Naruto did when he entered the bathroom. Seeing that everyone was now staring her and Naruto in the state that they were both in, with Naruto in just boxers and a shirt and her in a wet towel, Haku's face quickly turned bright red, not unlike a certain Hyuga heiress, upon which she quickly dropped the plunger she planned to beat Naruto with, and quickly ran into the bathroom and slammed the door shut behind her, at which point Kushina spoke out. "Well, that was interesting," leaving everyone to have large sweat drops on the back of their heads, not knowing how to comment on what just happened. Eventually though, things calmed down from the escapade of the early morning, where the mortified Haku eventually came out of the bathroom, in her usual attire, although both she and Naruto had trouble looking at one another, as Haku was still very much embarrassed at Naruto seeing her right after she came out of the shower, while Naruto had trouble looking at Haku without turning red and remember seeing her all wet, as she came out of the shower and with just a towel, where it clung tightly around her body. When everyone asked why both Zabuza and Haku had played the whole facade of Haku being a boy, Zabuza explained that after he and Haku left Kiri, he had Haku tell everyone that she was a boy and had her dress the way she did, so to hide her figure, so to prevent any other nuke nins that they might work together with from trying to harm Haku. At first the group had trouble believing it, but as they thought about it, it did make sense, where although Haku's voice and face did look feminine, she still kept her figure hidden, making hard for people to dispute whether Haku was a boy or a girl. Plus given how most of them did believe Haku was a boy for most of the time, it showed that it did work, as most people wouldn't feel comfortable asking someone like Haku if she was girl after she stated she was a boy. Naruto himself was also slightly grateful that Haku really turned out to be a girl, as the idea of him being even momentarily attracted to a boy who looked like a girl creeped him out. Once the excitement of the morning died down, Zabuza later on took Haku away, stating that he had something important to talk to the now revealed female ice user about. The two of them of course did not return until several hours later, where Haku, eyes were buffy red as if from crying a lot, although instead of looking sad, she looked happy. She also then later went up to Naruto and hugged him tightly and said thank you to him before giving the young blonde a kiss on the cheek, much to Naruto's and everyone's surprise. Naruto was of course confused by all this until Kakashi explained that seemingly his little talk with Zabuza had gotten through to the demon of the mist and seemingly had forced him to reevaluate his views on Haku, which was seemingly what he and Haku went off to talk about. When Naruto heard this he was of course glad he gotten through Zabuza, and hoped that things would of course be better for Haku now. A week later, after almost 2 weeks since the battle on the bridge had finally been completed 2 weeks ahead of schedule despite the delay, when Naruto destroyed a section of it. This was of course thanks to the help of Naruto and the others, including Zabuza and Haku, who had decided to help, since they didn't have much to do, as they couldn't really leave the island until the bridge was finished. With the bridge now finished, the mission was finally over, where Naruto and the others would be heading back to Konoha the next day. As Naruto and the others walked back to Tsunade's home, Naruto decided to ask Zabuza something he had been wondering the past few days. "So Zabuza, what do you and Haku-chan plan to now, with Gato dead?" "To be honest kid, I'm not exactly sure, as considering recent events, I'll have to rethink some of my plans," replied Zabuza, where he glanced at Haku for a moment and smirked a little. "Although one thing will be for certain, neither Haku or I can stay here much longer as Kiri's hunter nin squads are certain to come after us." "But why don't you head back to Kiri?" Asked Naruto. At this, Zabuza looked at Naruto as if he was nuts. Are you insane? The moment that we step foot in Kiri, the Yondaime Mizukage will have our heads. Naruto of course tried to reply to this comment, but before he could, Zabuza and Kushina and even Sai suddenly drew their swords, while Yamato and Kakashi took out their kunais and Haku took out her senbon needles. Kakashi-sensei's what's wrong? Asked Sakura, not understanding what was going on. It seems that we've an unexpected visitor following us, answered Kakashi, where he put his senses on high alert, as he and the others had just sensed an unknown person nearby. Make that a group of unexpected visitors, spoke Kushina, as he or she has some friends with them. She right, spoke Zabuza, I can sense them, there are about 4, no, make that 5 of them, and given the way they got so close to us without us knowing, I would say they are at Onbu level. Agreed, spoke Yamato, as he could tell that the people that they were sensing were quite skilled. At hearing this, Sasuke, Sakura quickly drew their own kunais, along with Naruto who drew his own katana, while Tazuna stood in the certain of the group of ninjas, where they all took a circle-like formation with their backs to one another. Soon enough though, the identity of the unknown party was revealed, with 4 masked shinobis appeared on both sides of the groups, surrounding them. When the masked shinobis revealed themselves, Zabuza and Haku, along with Kakashi and his fellow Jonins, Kushina and Yamato realized that the shinobis were hunter nins from Kiri, due to their masks.